it's not consistent yet. You know, obviously we didn't see him at Munich. They did kind of bomb out of stage 2 playoffs. This team has had a lot of good things going for them of late, and are honestly, I would be kind of sad if we didn't see them make it to SI either.
It'd be a big shame, wouldn't it? I think OXG have put a heck of a lot of work in, and are more than deserved of a spot if they can get there. And this is really going to be a big obstacle for them, because let me tell you, there are much better teams than Shopify going to SI, and I think that's been demonstrated around the world already. They are not looking too hot ahead of the competition, regardless of how much everybody is willing them to make it there. We're looking for them to not perform a miracle whilst they get there, but they would need to perform above and beyond the standard that we are used to seeing them play at. And I think that's the real key takeaway from it here. I always think at this point, when we're qualifying teams for internationals and particularly a 6 invitational links, regardless of the region that I'm casting, I want to be sending the best teams in that region, because you want that region essentially to do well. You know, you've cast plenty of teams, you get little attachments to this one or that one. I know we both do a bit of stint in the old SAL, and teams grab your heart a little bit, don't you? And you want the best teams to go because you get a bit proud for the region that you cast.
Well, you want the best teams, and you also want the teams that bring a good storyline. And I think everyone, I'm not saying OXG are an underdog, but I think everybody loves an improvement story, a team that I think nobody really expected to be a contender at the beginning, and then all of a sudden gives us a reason to buy into it. And even if they aren't necessarily the best team on paper, they've shown you they've come a long way. They show you that they're hungry, that they're putting in the work, that they are capable of success. And who doesn't want to root for a team like that? Same can be said for Shopify, though, making some clear improvements in the series we just saw against Dark Zero. We worried a lot about their cohesion yesterday, their ability to react, their fluidity, and well, on their attacking side specifically, they answered a lot of the questions that we had. We also saw some good individual performances to boot, in particular Surf, but really everybody down the line except for Canadian. And for Shopify Rebellion, that's exactly what you want. Starting the attack side here, they will lack the Monty, but they will have the Blitz in their hands. We'll see something a bit different from what we saw from Shopify Rebellion last game. We saw mainly a focus on the op side, and while we do see Ambient Canadian once again pushing up Rocket, Canadian doing it with the Blitz will die pushing in the bathroom. Ambi gets a nice trade and secure of the top position. But the greater threat, this clash and the stall behind it with that Tachanka, these are going to be things that are really going to trip Shopify Rebellion up.
It's quite an even trade for both sides as well. You think you've lost a Warden, you've also lost a Blitz. Warden and the Blitz cancel each other out quite nicely. Then you throw into it the fact that you've got Spoit on that glass, and that is just going to give a little bit of something that can't be dealt with now. You've not got the Warden to look through those smoke canisters. So the glass may see a slight uptick in value here, but it is only slight, and it's most likely that time is going to do the rest here in this round, as you can see Shopify players stacking up on that side door. With all the Shumikas in the world and a clash, it's going to be difficult to deal with. Air jab gets sent in to try and displace the clash, and the smoke's now put out. This is where you need Spoit to shine.
Oh, and there, unfortunately, Spoit might live just barely, but it's Yaga stuck behind the desk, gets hit by the air jab, but covered by the desk and the Kiba placed earlier. Able to pop up, get two, and basically shut the door in round one for Shopify Rebellion. Grix are relaying that constant information. Gomez coming around for the backstab too. C4 sent out. Ooh, Grix are actually damaged quite a bit on that. But it is that secondary utility that does it in the end. OXG starting out strong with that late round hold.
OXG starting as they mean to go on here. It is defensive, that top floor. It is a very difficult site to crack. I don't think we can get too far ahead of ourselves just yet, excuse me. This being a Shopify pick and a map that they've done really well on only an hour, half an hour ago. We expect them to have these attacks a little bit more well dialed than that.
Did you get hit with the thing that knocked out my voice yesterday?
No, I did the thing where at the end of you talking, I drank the last of my coffee, and you know when you didn't make a new coffee, and you should have done, but I forgot. and you get to the bitty bit.
The wonky bit.
I was at the bitty bit.
Bomb located by attackers.
So then I unmute my mic, start talking again, and I'm at the bitty bit of the coffee.
5 seconds remaining.
It's always my least favorite part of coffee. You get the little grounds at the bottom. It's like, oh, great.
attackers are heading
And
out
it's,
to
you
the
just wanted
diffuse
more
bomb.
of it. You just like, oh, it was so good. Like, I need more. And then I don't know about you, but I'll always drink one. I'll put it back down on the desk. I'll pick the cup back up and it's empty. And I'm like, where did it go? It just disappeared.
Somebody came and stole it.
There's a little coffee fiend. Someone's got a really long straw.
Also, quick recommendation: if people like coffee or like cold brew and you don't make your own, you should. It's very easy and very good.
I need to look into that because I keep getting advertised cold brew that you can buy in the shop. But out of principle, I won't buy it. But I really want it. So I might need to look into making some of my own.
They make some mason jars that attach to the lid of the mason jar as like a filter for like making cold brew. If you just get one of those, get the coffee grounds, like you're chilling. I did it for a long. I don't drink coffee anymore, but I did it for a long time. It's very tasty. I'd recommend it. Anyway, it's the food recommendation hour over with. The Lynx and XR Troika cast, as we have a basement defense to talk about. Can usually afford to waste a little bit of that first minute because, especially if there's no roam presence up top, it's just going to be the attack droning, seeing if they can get this vertical control down, and then ideally getting the boogie drones down. If you paid attention to the Shopify Dark Zero series earlier, Rexon was having a bit of bad luck on the ram when attacking this site. He's at least made it in this go around. Not only that, the Rebellion have actually, despite getting mid-floor presence early, have then moved up to the top floor for a 4-man clear, just to make sure that there's nobody hiding around. Can't exactly blame them too much for that, but it will spend a little bit of time for what is currently a full 5-man hold at the bottom floor. Both Dokkaebi calls expended as well for Kiba's in Yaga's pocket. I don't think OXG are even going to move in the next minute 15 seconds.
SR just have the run of the map, don't they? They can do pretty much whatever they want here. It's a very aggressive clear of that top floor as well, and I think it's one of those situations where they kind of knew it was clear. It was just a belt and braces approach. And as mentioned, Rexon has seen far more success here in round number 2 than it feels like he saw for the entire series against DZ on this ram. Spoit, opening pick onto Gomez. Those Legion Goo mines that increase in number over time. Going to be less of a factor here. 40 seconds left to go, and Canadian's going to start barreling himself down and just start tearing these defenders down. With the amount of vert open, there should be some free pickings here for SR.
The big issue, though, will be these Kiba barriers remaining. They've heard the blitz pushing through. They know the push is coming from that direction. Canadian often carries the diffuser. Oh, but then Yaga goes down. Everybody from Shopify Rebellion, Spoit and Surf both on for 2. The final player isolated and finished off. Seemed like there was going to be a bit more of a fight from OXG given the amount of utility on the site. But we've seen basement rounds end with Shopify Rebellion players getting a flurry of kills. They did it 30 minutes ago. They'll do it again here.
Serious flood com there coming in at the end, you feel?
Serious flood com.
It's and I love a flood because it's not always necessary to get the kills, but it's about sending a message. And I think the SR, the message that they're sending at the moment, or at least the message that I'm getting from them, is that they are hot right now. They're coming off the back of the series. I thought we actually had a longer break in between. I'm not sure if a longer break was offered and then refused just based on the fact that they're feeling pretty good and they want to just get straight back into the next series. That's entirely speculation, by the way. I have no idea if that's true or not. But I did think it was a longer break that was scheduled in between the games. So the fact that we did come in after only a 10-minute break and a decent length death, what was it, 20 minutes, something like that? They've not lost any of that pace. They've not lost any of that heat. And OXG coming into this fixture cold in a must-win map, well, sorry, not must-win map, a must-win game, it piles the pressure on a little bit. Because SR, they're already rolling with the motions. They're nice and loose at this point.
Rolling with the motions on this map in particular. I mean, they literally played this exact map not 40 minutes prior. And I think it's a very common talking point to say that, oh, OXG were sitting at home, they got to see their strats, see what they do, and that's all well and good. But it's one thing to be warmed up. It's another thing to be warmed up most recently on the very map you're playing against a team that, as you said, is just coming cold. That's a reality of the situation. Either way you cut it, whether it's OXG, the advantage of watching, or Shopify getting the advantage of being warmed up, they don't cancel each other out. One is not objectively right, one's not objectively wrong, but they're all factors to consider.
I bet if you asked players what they'd prefer to be in the game. That's just one going into the next game. I know it's an advantage to watch and try and counter-strike, but there's nothing you can do in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You can't do too much, you can't do anything meaningful. You can't reinvent the wheel.
or even invent the wheel for the first time.
I think it took longer than 20 minutes, didn't it?
To invent the wheel, absolutely. If it could be invented in 20 minutes, we really probably would have figured that out earlier. A little clean bunks briefing defense, by the way. Means we're going to have the entire world up top, attack and defense. We'll see what Shopify Rebellion decide to do to cut through this. One thing we have seen them do in the past is dump a lot of utility up top, but then actually just sneak in down below for the plant. But it's always going to be an issue when there's a Warden alive. Can't really bring the Ying. Don't have a Glass or a Sens either. So we're left in this difficult spot that teams attacking this site often find where, I mean, you literally have 5 defenders up top, not a single person on the site. And you can see how trepidatious the Rebellion feel.
There's a stall, isn't there?
What do
And
you
it's
do?
noticeable. We're approaching 55 seconds, and we haven't seen so much as a gunfight. Everybody full HP, everybody alive. Whatever happens here is going to be absolutely chaotic, make no mistake. Pushing from Canadian under the cover of the Lion scan. He's gone into the cupboard!
Snuck underneath. Nobody saw, nobody looking, and there you go. Similar variant of how we've seen the Rebellion attack this site previously. You dump a bunch of utility up top, but you don't actually try to clear it. You just use it as a way to keep the defenders distracted, and then you get Canadian in with the diffuser down below. It seems counterintuitive. You dump all that utility, and on face value, you get nothing for it. But if the players track their eyes up from those vertical angles, that diffuse plant goes down without anybody even looking at it. Forest down below, cut off. 2 in a row for a Shopify Rebellion, who might just have a good formula for what, and for many teams, is an impenetrable bomb site.
A very difficult bomb site to attack, and a lot of teams make a meal of it. SR set themselves up for success right from the start. It was a really slow round. It's never a bad thing, though, especially when the end result is a round on the board for your team. Canadian really had to push in quite deep. But under the cover of the Lion scan and with sufficient information, with sufficient pressure elsewhere, yeah, there might be defenders playing upstairs, but if there's attackers that are harassing them at that moment in time, they can't be watching the vertical angles. OXG stunned into a timeout. A lot of early timeouts. I think every timeout, every game that we've cast so far, every map that we've cast links, there's been a timeout in either rounds, what, 2, 3, or 4.
It was similar yesterday, too. I think both timeouts yesterday were also...
I think it was round 2 yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was 2 different teams who did it as well. I think it was SSG one game, and then it was Shopify Rebellion the other. Being proactive. Can't flame them too much for it. OXG also down 1 round. 2-1 at the moment. This is the Rebellion's pick, by the way. At least I think it is. I would assume it is. Unless OXG decided the ego challenge, which frankly, you know, I wouldn't be too shocked. But I really like this strategy. I like the way they do it, even with lacking a lot of the candles and a lot of the utility you would otherwise think you'd have to use to kind of bait a lot of attention on the top floor. The Rebellion doing a very, very good job with it. And imagine OXG hitting the pause button to just rethink what kind of strategy they might want to do for our 6th room. They obviously won the site previously. But a big reason that was Yaga being able to remain deep behind the desk, both behind that and behind the Kiba barriers. And now that you lack that, you would have to rely a lot more on the Tachanka, on the smoke. So while they'll keep the clash, we got 4 C4s in the lineup now, Ollie. Might try to go for a retake down below at some point during the round.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, no smoke, no Tachanka, a lot of C4s. Like you say, it stinks of a retake, doesn't it?
Camera feed up and running.
Oh, I kind of like that Valkyrie camera. Everyone's always
Write it
looking
down.
in the corners. Everyone's either looking in the corners, like up, or the corners down. No one's looking on the desk behind the little briefcase. That remains. It could be quite devastating. Although if you look at the lineup for SR, they're not bringing anything that screams vertical. It's not like they're bringing the Deimos or the Buck or anything of that nature. They've still got tools that they can use to play a little bit of vert, but I think it's going to be far less of a focus here given the lineup that they've brought. Much more focused on working around that shield, leveraging that glass a little bit. I do like the addition of the Thinker as well into this one. It gives Canadian a little bit more potency on that blitz. He's going to be rushing in and taking some engagements. You can, of course, ADS a little bit quicker. I'm not sure if Yoga's just trying to bait out at the moment, but there's quite literally a drone at his feet, so whatever he is trying to bait, it isn't going to be working too well, and he doesn't want to lose his life just trying to pick a drone off. But at least he's doing a good job of keeping the attackers out of Ops right now.
Smoke canister goes out. Finka boost too. Canadian looking to apply that pressure through the bathroom. He died here before, but this time it seems instead of running up rocket, maybe hopped in the window. But Oakshi have in turn also pulled very, very far back, close to the site. Rexon gets the first, Surf hopping in off the back of it. 612 doing mighty fine work over on the opposite side. And now the pressure on Op starts coming to fruition. Grixer spotting one prone behind the desk, does not get the kill, unfortunately. Very late down as the round's fallen apart. Once they hit the go button, Shopify Rebellion are all on the same page, hitting it out of the park. 3 rounds in a row, somehow looking even better on the attack than they did earlier.
They're hyped up as well now, aren't they? Look at him. Ambi stood up. Literally stood up at the end of round 5.
Did he even get a kill that round?
I think he got like 3, didn't he?
Well, no, because Rexon got a kill, Surf got a kill.
Okay, Rexon,
then
Surf.
Rexon again.
Ambi. And then he got the last one with the
2
pistol.
kills.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. That's a valid stand. That's a valid stand.
And his Finker boost. Come on.
True. True.
I mean, he's 6-1. If he wants to stand up, he can stand up.
No, I think that's fair. I apologize.
It really doesn't bode well for OXG, does it?
Oh, is that a genuine question or a rhetorical question?
I think it was more of a statement at this point. They've got a 46% win rate on the attack on this map. 57% defense win rate. They aren't living up to that number at the moment.
It's also, you don't want to see a team retry a site coming out of a tactical timeout. And not only do they lose the site, they lose it by almost polar opposite results. They win it previously with 3 bodies remaining, and now they lose it, and SR only dropped 1 body in the process. And SR, by the way, if you look at that lineup, there were some important differences, let's be fair, but they picked Ying into Warden. They picked Glaz into Warden.
I think SR are just sort of showing that they're really not scared of the Warden. Like, it feels like they know they're operating on an entirely different plane to OXG right now. It's like the little nuanced counters, and I mean, a Warden isn't like a nuanced counter, is it? It's literally his whole jig. It's his whole vibe. But they're kind of ignoring base game mechanics in that a Warden counters things that can stun you, and just going, yeah, we're just going to win anyway. We're just going to go through and kill people anyway. It doesn't really matter. It's only 1 player. It isn't enough of a problem for them to deal with at the moment. And OXG being forced into using quite a lot of utility quite early on here. Already the breach is open. Ready and waiting to send some more smokes through. That's always a good indicator.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, Atom, you might be the Warden, you might have the goggles, but you can't split yourself in half and take 2 engagements. At least Grixer comes in with 1 to give an advantage right now for OXG.
And you can see here a lot more standard of an ending for Bunk's briefing. Full commit to the clear of the top floor. I think I think the real tricky thing with just this, it's like you're basically attacking a bomb site, but you can't put the diffuser down because you're attacking what is literally a bomb site like 1 round prior. But then you move the chassis down below, and so you can't just accept carving off this little bit of space on one side, then forcing a plant. Like, you kind of have to clear because it's a roam. But lacking that wind condition is just, again, one reason why this side is so difficult to attack. And unfortunately, SR deciding not to go with the clear they did previously. Not even really the clear, just the util dump into the plant fake.
Every engagement failed for SR, didn't it? I think if one goes their way, maybe they can try and work something with it. But when you lose it every which way on every corner of the approach, it's like, we're just gonna go next.
Maybe like, because Grexer had that counter swing, maybe like, I don't know, maybe throw a nade at the door?
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
But,
Top floor then. The last defense for OXG. If we thought that, well, time denial was worth talking about in our previous game, it's definitely worth talking about here. We've gone from seeing not a Tachanka picked to, in this round, we've not only got the Tachanka and the smoke, we've also got the Goyo and the Clash. I mean, can we just teleport to the last 15 seconds? Because that's where we're going to end up.
The name of this strat in the book is boring. It's literally just boring, all caps.
It's a good strategy.
In Rainbow Six, it's a great strategy. Do I hate it?
Sometimes.
Yes, but not because it's bad.
No, it's good.
Because of its namesake. It's a good strategy. I hate that it's good. You can just pop the Vulcan packs. You can get the Shamika canister lineup. Like we talked about last game, also bringing the Tachanka allows the smoke to have a bit more freedom and play around Newbridge if they want to, because you are not, one of the core and the main elements of time denial. That Tachanka can focus on that, just sit behind the shield for the entire round. So you can swing around Newbridge with the shotgun. You can use your toxic canisters on that side of the map, and especially when you have a Clash on board, like, you could spend all 3 toxic canisters with a minute remaining in the round, and the team still has plenty to deny the breach over on upside.
Need to see that Vulcan pack dealt with. Surf's got a bit of a job on his hands. He has actually spent his last Rotero as well. We've got some nades though. Maybe we can parkour them around a little bit. That's a hell of a bounce on the ROU projector. Spoit is pushing in off the back of it, but full white flash isn't ideal for him right now. Even Atom, full white as well for a brief time. Obviously saving the goggles as he feels like it's a bit of a bait for the time being. But SR just stalling out a little bit here. They need to try and find an entry. They need to find an in.
Unfortunately, looking at it right now, I don't really know what that in looks like. You don't have the Candelas, you don't have the shield, no bees. And that ROU projector doesn't give you as much as you think. It'll cut off a line inside of the site, sure. What do we see in the Dark Zero game? Clash just walks up anyway. Creates a bit of a distraction, provides a bit of cover for the defense. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it is not going to get you the victory. Instead, they just sprint in deep, try to push the Clash back entirely. Will get Grixer off the back of it, but with such low health, Spoit, he would have died to the electricity if not the bullets. Canadians moved off the back of that wave and surfed it as best he can. But OXG basically had that default plant in a chokehold from the beginning of the round, and with so much utility stacked up against it, there was very little the Rebellion could do to overcome it.
Everything was focused on stopping that plant from getting down and just denying a lot of area access in and around the site. Yes, if you want to open the breach, be my guest, but it doesn't make things any easier for you. You're still going to have a Clash to deal with, and you are still going to have to try and move through an almost impossible task at that point. And like you say, the ROU projectors, it's like a small dog that's got a big bark. You don't really do too much. There's no penalty for walking through them other than you just can't see for a little bit. But you're going to pop out of the smoke somewhere unpredictable, the very way that you can't be seen if you're standing on the other side of it. 3-3 half, very representative of the siege we've seen up until this point, as OXG have managed to turn the tide somewhat in a game that Shopify came in with the heat and momentum, still carrying them through from that win against Dark Zero to it kind of petering off a little bit and them not able to find answers deeper into that first half. Although, what I will say is 3 rounds on the attack on Lair still could be good enough.
Could absolutely be good enough. but we did just watch Shopify Rebellion against Dark Zero put on a clinic on the defense. 5 rounds out of 6-1. A really great showing, basically throughout the entire beginning of that half, only slipping up a little bit at the end, which, what, that round was, I think, like a 3v5, 3v3, going with, like, barely any time remaining. It was a very tricky round for Dark Zero to win. Shopify Rebellion dominated on their defenses. And as you said, there's little you can glean if you're the team sitting on the sidelines. You can get an idea, but like you said, you're not doing anything crazy when it comes to the counter strats, especially as the desk mentioned. OXG not a team that really does that anyway, even when they have the time. So the Rebellion have practiced these defenses. They feel comfortable with these defenses. You have an idea of what they're going to do. But we just saw them dominate with it, and we'll see if OXG, who have a history of struggling on this attacking side, can overcome that very tall hurdle. Some early control and ops. Adam moving in. Presence of Descent indicates we might also see OXG go for a default plant on the ops side. Right now, the main obstacles will be a Banshee, a Bulletproof, and a mirror window staring right at them.
It's nice, isn't it? Because it's a very different minigame to that, the one OXG was laying out. SR's minigame is much more information-based. You've got the Banshee. Bit of information, but primarily to stop someone pushing in, forcing them to look down at the floor instead of keeping their sights trained behind that desk. Ooh, speaking about trained, Yoga sends Rex into the cameras. Struggled quite a bit with the opening death here today, and it's going to be catching him out here and now. There's the aforementioned Banshee. Not too much, but it gives you the idea that somebody's there. Gomez. He's patient. He might find one onto Ambi here. Ambi may be trying to play spoil, but look at Yoga coming in for the pinch. Oh, the team play from OXG right now. This is beautiful stuff. Oh, and a freebie. It's 3 for Yoga. Look at him go. Get some more. Go on. Finish the job. Forest for the final 2. OXG, a flawless start to their attacking phase.
And no utility really used, just working their positions and working the information that they have. Yoga gets the opening pick. Obviously, great work on top rocket. And then you see the next problem present itself. Ambi roaming around down below on the Solus. Something that could be good, but not only did OXG think ahead with placing Gomez down below early on as the Deimos, who can obviously pressure from below, but also do exactly what he did, hold the cutoff angle in case anybody's roaming. But then also relaying that information to Yoga, who then goes down and forms a pinch perfectly in time with Gomez. It's also a situation where even if Ambi gets that kill onto Yoga, I don't think he knows that the Deimos is there. So likely doesn't get the trade either way. He's clearly caught off guard by the Capital in actuality. And then Surf thinking that maybe he can take a bit of initiative on Bathroom. Seems a case where 3 people walk in front of Yoga, have no idea he's there. And it's not simply a case of them, like running into his bullets. It's great communication, it's great timing, and it's Yoga really understanding how to work that position, work the information to his team's advantage.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
OXG with a brief lead now then. 4-3. Starting off strong on this attack. I don't know if it was like a sort of a misguided opinion, but I just didn't really hold OXG in super high regard on the attacks here. But that last one was just so clinical. You can't help but sort of sit up in your seat and take a bit of notice of it. Forest this time, though, not really exuding the same level of competence as we saw inside of round 7. And instead, it looks like it might be a bit of a lash-out reaction right now from OXG. We've got a Finker boost, a dead Surf, and Yoga on the blitz, just running rampant around the whole building, just desperate to find an engagement, it seems.
We got a bit of a death ball moving around the middle floor right now. 3 whole people just stomping around rockets. Spoit's about to run into them. They would know that, especially from either the tape from last game or the tape in general, that Spoit likes to play here. Gomez finding another in the process. Yoga down, though. So that momentum will be stunted for the time being. Adam, be careful. Don't overstep. Spoit sprints into him, though, and gives a 1v1. So many of these Rebellion players just walking right into ready OXG attackers. Now, Canadian might meet the exact same fate. Will he learn Spoit's lesson? Boost goes out, Adam hears him and scares off Canadian. Yaga hot on his heels. 1 HP doesn't matter, blinds him, finished off with a pistol. Rexon next in the 1v4, not even a chance. 4 rounds in a row for OXG, 2 on the attacking side. We saw an early tactical timeout from OXG, and I imagine we got a late one coming from the Rebellion in just a few seconds.
It's late or early, depending on your outlook, isn't it? Late in terms of the game, but early in terms of their defensive half, because they desperately need to try and take a little bit of the sting out of the bite from OXG right now. As predicted, Super will be coming in to give a little bit of guidance over to the team. Give Canadian a bit of time to compose and think as well as to how they're going to deal with that. It's getting serious. Spoit's taking the hoodie off. Like when you've been playing ranked for a few hours, you're a bit cold at the start, now you're warmed up and you're like, nah, this hoodie needs to get off me. I need to loosen up. I need to be free.
Which is ironic, because I imagine one thing they're likely talking about the tactical timeout is, hey guys, I think we need to be a little less loose, actually. I think we need to be a little less free. Because it's clear that OXG have a good handle on these roamers. What is he doing? What is...
I've never seen a man scratch like that in my life.
What? Was the jersey a little tight?
I mean, Spoit's taking the hoodie off. I think Canadian's going to take the jersey off.
Can you imagine he SSGs it, jersey off the whole time? Oh, that got me. Anyway, point I was making. Need to be a little less loose, because it's clear that OXG have a good handle on these roamers, whether they're solo, more coordinated, or even if people are just kind of getting aggressive around the site, like we saw on the first attempted R6 room by the Rebellion. Surf thought he could just take a 1v1 on bathroom? Nope. Rexon thought he could rotate out of the display? Nope. Ambi thinks he can just roam around the bottom floor for free, get spotted and finished off. All those kills by Yaga, but Yaga, sure, he's the one that gets all 3 of those kills, but as we just saw from the previous round, OXG have a good handle. If you get aggressive and get in their face, they not only can spot these fights, they can win them. And so I think the Rebellion maybe going to play things a little tighter, a little closer, keep a cooler head, all things considered.
And I think that'll probably be the call, won't it? It'll just be to tighten things up. It's like, guys, we've been confident. OXG are coming with a lot of confidence. It isn't DZ that you're playing here. OXG have that ability to play with a little bit more flair, a little bit more fluidity, and they're doing a really good job of it. We just need to be a little bit more boring. Spoit under a little bit of pressure right now. Stood on the desk, doesn't want to get taken out from below. He of course knows Gomez's position, but Gomez can feed Spoit's location around to different players, and Spoit doesn't really want to take that chance right now. Deathmark tracker that doesn't really result in anything though. Okay, we know we've got an Azami, but that is about it. Spoit forced again to reposition, but with none of the floor open, there's no consequence to his movement right now. He can kind of just operate in this area pretty much for free. He's got 3 Keybers in pocket, Vulcan Pack at the door and at the breach. No real reason why he shouldn't be able to stay here for a good portion of time. He's got some great support from Surf as well. SR really tried to lock this down. And as we approach the halfway mark, OXG haven't really dealt with anything on a utility level.
You can see the ideology and the consequence of that timeout. So much more utility. Investing a lot in Spoit. I mean, he's just now, at beyond the halfway point, starting to touch the rest of that Kiba surplus he's been building up. Allowing himself to play aggressive, but with all that util dump in turn, Spoit actually forced back. He'll move to the alternative position, but not only is Gomez already ready and waiting, because of the death mark, he's spotted in the process. How the hell has Canadian worked his way up and retaken Spoit's position? What is this? The smoke canisters around the corner should give it away. The Canadian is at least trying to keep things aggressive. He too will fall back. Spoit out of Kibas as well. Can progress up, but so much utility's already been dumped. Another going out will force Adam off the plant. That's the last of the smokes. There's no Shumikas to back that up. All the Vulcans have been popped too. We've got no C4s remaining. Our only chance is to start hucking impacts their way, because beyond that, OXG have the vertical control. They've got the position for the diffuser. Ambi rotates around. The exact play Shopify Rebellion needed right now, and yet OXG maintain an advantage. 19 seconds to push in. A further Z ping on the player tucked behind the display, but with Yaga going down, Ambi again, all the way from across, floors them with the TCSG. MVP flank from Ambi, keeping Shopify Rebellion competitive.
You can't ignore Skybridge. When the whole plan is to try and get that plant down, you cannot ignore Skybridge if you're going to be hanging around outside of the breach. Ambi, brilliant flank. Fantastic positioning, and he does what he does best. Hits his shots. That breaks the mold here for Shopify and gives them their first round on the defense here. Still doesn't feel like they're out of the woods just yet, though. They did a very good job of placing a lot of mini games for OXG to deal with and things to slow them down. And I think positionally, Shopify were exceptional in round number 9. Not only through Ambi's flank, but also the fact that Spoit managed to stay alive despite multiple death mark trackers. Big kill, of course, coming onto the planter. One coming from Ambi himself as he flanked on that Skybridge. But everyone working quite nicely together. And from seeing them play a very loose and fast siege in rounds, 7 and 8? Round number 9, they tighten that down and they play some really tight, well-coordinated siege. Nice to see that Shopify can operate at different levels. And you hope for them that it continues through this series and they level it up back to 5 rounds apiece.
5 seconds to go. Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Got Spoit on the Scopo, Solly.
Loves it.
Does. Mainly a night cave pick. But have you see that? They're trying to get Spoit activated with those frags. Feed us some information. Look at this from Gomez. Speeding through the middle floor right now. We'll trigger the procs, unfortunately. That was a hell of a lurk early on. Unfortunate the util doesn't get spotted. But still some very good control established early on. Didn't even need to use a Dokubi call off the back of it. Pretty good for OXG to start. But they're eventually going to run into the same hurdle many teams will deal with. The upstairs position. How are you going to deal with those 3 to 4 defenders all playing up top? You got the utility to do it, like the calls I said previously, but the smoke bowls, the candelas as well, plenty you can do. Just a matter of getting these players in the right positions. Maybe with the F-Nauts down below as well. It's a pretty good lineup, all things considered. It's just we'll have to see how they spend the next minute coming up with these pieces. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Loading new mag.
Previous history with Forest, some really bad time in there. Suffers that opening death again, and this time on the track stingers, on that gridlock. That's just going to free up these top floor players to roam as much as they like. I was going to go on to say that typically we do see a lot of Solis played on this map, or on this site in particular, for denying that plant, especially when you've got a pretty hefty upstairs presence. But a plant feels like a world away right now. Gomez going to try his luck, see if he can find anything on the vert. With that DMR, he doesn't need to find the head. He just needs a couple of well-placed body shots. He's able to thread something, maybe can make something happen, but... I mean, the side players, then the side players, isn't there? Ambi locking it down, adding another 2 kills to his tally. Currently 12 and 5. I don't think he'll get the last kill. But Grixer will find one onto Rexon. He's got a whole host of players up here to deal with.
And not much he can do. Players position forward, players position far back. Do you want to go back to the beginning of the round, though? Because Spoit gets that opening pick, but Forrest spotted directly underneath the Skybridge default. That is unfortunate. Very common position visible from the doorway, and as a result, that information is being fed directly to Spoit, who immediately walks to the staircase, pre-fires that position. And is that like the reason OXG lost the round? No, it's not. But you can see that's one very, very strong line of pressure controlling a pivotal staircase to allow defenders to rotate up the top floor is what could have been a threat, dealt with pretty easily because that default cam is left up. Spoit getting activated with the Scopos. You can see them talking about it in chat right now. These things happen. But it has allowed the Rebellion to tie up the game, get them back in 5-5, and go down to basement for the second time so far this half. OXG were able to win it previously off of clearing the roam being played by the Rebellion very, very well. At least for the moment, no shield this go around for OXG, so we'll see if things differ all that much, because even with this lineup, but especially the presence of a Ram, it seems like they will be making their way through the mid floor, even without that shield.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser. Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Round 11 then, and all equal here. Nothing separating these two teams at the moment. Shopify managed to stabilize themselves here after bleeding 4 rounds in a row to OXG. Now it feels like it's on OXG to start finding some answers, doesn't it? They're still moving with that fairly quick style. We've seen 30 seconds, we've already got Selma's getting sent on through, trying to open up this top floor. Believe that that one will go off there on that mirror window. Removes a little bit of safety here for Ambi, but Ambi's been the danger man right now. I don't think he needs the safety. I don't think that's where he wants to be. He wants to be in the thick of it. He wants to be in the action.
12-5, you don't blame him. Not been the superstar that he once was, I think, in the past stage, but especially, well, one, his potential is still ridiculous, like, don't get me wrong. But especially in this game, right now, doing really, really well. The Rebellion in general today, the desk, rightly so, kind of highlighted some of the individual drop-offs, and all right, well, I guess in this round they will be dropping off very quickly. Good performances throughout both of today's series, but at least in round 11, Ambi and Spoit both going down. Actually, you don't need a shield to clear out these players. Just as successful as it was in round 8. Still got the boogie drones to get the vert as well. Dokubi call goes out. Surf spotted on a drone too. Canadian can only provide so much support over on the staircase. These are 2 isolated players at the moment. Canadian might do well to retreat, as Surf alone up top, put to very, very low HP.
Finish off by Atom. Caught in a little bit of no man's land there. As soon as this roam starts to fail, it's lights out. Rexon, a brilliant response, and a kill that could turn out to be very important indeed. Canadian needs to fight his way out of this corner, and will do so, finding one. Draws for the shotgun. Is the second going to challenge? He knows he's got a player on the window. OXG should be pressuring this point right now, and instead it looks like they might let him slip the net. No, Gomez eventually comes in with the final one. Make it 2, as Rexon was attempting the refrag there, but was just a little bit too late. OXG with a response, and a response that comes quickly, Lynx.
A very quick response. I mean, all their ducks were in a row at the beginning of that round. We've got the Dokubi calls going out. We've got players holding crossfires, ready for the trade. That basement roam has been easy for them to clear every single time. For all the struggles, either team have had, for all the good or bad things they've done, definitely one of the highlights, if not the highlight for OXG, is how expertly they have dealt with these players up top. I mean, that's 3 in a row right there, and I think last time, I think Surf got the opening pick, and then OXG get every single kill afterwards on the roam clear. Really impressive stuff, really have that under control. Now, going back to R6 room, this is a round they've won before, all the way back at the beginning of the half. And while round 9 didn't go their way, all of it came down to Ambi flanking over by Skybridge. Just one little piece. If you get somebody over there, get a drone in that position, get a body in that position, that round might have gone your way. They were able to get into the site, able to push a lot of that utility back. And so it's a very small thing to correct for as they look to this 3rd play of R6 room. 7-5 is a very real possibility here on SR's pick to boot.
You look at the adaptation, and obviously with the Azami being removed, Spoit's going to have to play something else. It's going to be the Vigil. Okay, he's hit some nice shots today. There's always that potential with the Vigil. Looks like he's flicking a couple of cameras, being fairly self-sufficient here and trying to keep his options somewhat open. But with the way that OXG have been able to deal with the majority of the utility setup, at least, as long as they can achieve that again, and they've already started. Atom straight in there, able to hack the Fenrir and the Melusi. Plus, both of them could work in the other direction. Oh, what an important time for Forrest to get an opening pick. He's been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, today with that opening death. There's a couple of rounds that have been very, very pivotal and have come down very close, where Forrest has gone down early. And this time he's able to take out the star of the show from Shopify. He's able to take out Ambi.
Spoit's able to get the refrag, though. Through the vertical, Boss G shots land. About to say, likely going to go for the impact trick with those two in pocket. It'll keep his fortress up top alive a little bit longer. Doesn't have the key, but he can walk up and play behind like he could before. So it will be a little bit looser, unfortunately. You might have to consider falling back a bit early on and making good use of the ACOG on that Boss G, playing that long angle. See what they can make do, though. Gomez going down next as OXG by and large, excuse me, Adam going down next as OXG by and large due to the loss of Gomez. The Deimos and the Capital, one of the few bits of execute utility that they had. The Firebolts will go through, but caught by a magnet. The utility game is stumping OXG at the moment, and the kills aren't helping either. Forrest and Yaga both at the breach, trying to find a way in, trying to find a way past this Boss G, past these smokes. With the time just dwindling down, the seconds slipping through their fingers, another bit goes through. Will this be the difference maker? Will this be the opportunity? The smoke gives Spoit an opportunity to move behind the desk. Nade goes through, though, a key bit of utility. As what otherwise could have caught the attack off guard will now be another factor they won't have to worry about. But it's one of many going their way. How long have we been here, stuck in bathrooms, stuck outside of ops and the site itself? We're in the red zone now as Rexon around the corner could easily swing and deal with the player, the striker moving into the site. It'll be Shopify Rebellion's second overtime of the weekend so far. And boy, oh boy, OXG completely stumped in round 12.
I know it came down to red time, but there was a lot of kills that come in the final 2 seconds there. I was a little bit worried for Shopify, especially with all the hard work that Spoit had put in. How the hell did he stay alive, by the way? Because he quite literally had to turn his back to the door at one point to run out of dodge and somehow managed to stay alive. Positioning tonight on some of these Rebellion players has just been second to none. It was Yaga. Yaga basically got the collat, didn't he? Because they'd lined up for him. So it maybe wasn't as bad as it looked, because the trade was, of course, there. 6-6 into an overtime, and it's SR to stay on the defense right now. So they are going to be going back upstairs to this top floor. I mean, it's a site that's kind of defined this defensive phase for them, right? They've played it 3 times now. They've been successful up here twice. Both times slightly different strategies and different opening picks. Don't forget, it was OXG that were able to get the opening pick in that round. Shopify Rebellion were able to do that without Ambi.
5 seconds remaining. Attacker's objective is to locate a
But
bomb
you
and
never want to do things without Ambi.
I'll try not to get in your way.
That's
You want
rude,
that.
isn't it?
It's
It's like
rude.
leaving the dog at home when you go to the park. Can't do
Also,
that.
like, well, one, you can't do that. Also, it doesn't give us the show we were promised.
You got a promise?
Well, I mean, I didn't get an overt promise in writing, but when you go
Oh.
12-7, I kind of start to expect things. I'm greedy that way. You get more kill, you get a bunch of kills, and I just want more kills.
I think that'd stand up. I'd say that's as good as a written contract.
I could, well, no, I don't think it would be.
I'm fishing.
I gave it a genuine thought there, though.
I'm fishing.
Little vert pressure for Gomez, or from Gomez, I suppose. Go below with that skeleton key, not the Deimos like he's done for the past couple times now. Instead, it will be with that underbarrel shotgun. Force drops down as well with the exothermics. I actually don't know. I think did the Heartbreak Charge get destroyed by that C4?
Adding some protection from grenades.
Oh, it might have done.
Perimeter defense online.
I don't think I heard the Heartbreak Charge go off.
Oh.
Unlucky.
No. Gotta go back to it.
This makes things very difficult. They haven't got the other side of the breach opened. Oh, and Spoit comes in as well.
Did he get destroyed by
Genius
him?
little bit
Oh
of
my.
play. Yeah, it got
And it
impact.
got him.
Yeah.
Changing max.
Oh, this is a shutout.
Criminal.
There's no util that OXG have got now. This
Oh,
is brilliant
no.
from SR. They've just gone so boring. They've just gone, right, we're just going to win it off the back of ops. Spoit, just play the tub. Okay, you get taken out now by Gomez. It's 45 seconds, and you're on a single doorway push into that top floor. 3 Toxic Babe canisters in Canadian's pocket. Surely there's no way that OXG find a way in.
Especially with Gomez on 1 HP, you have an advantage on that individual fight. Got some direct intel onto the player, playing just around display. So maybe Forrest can hop in, swing around, get this kill. Ambi there, ready for the counter, though. It's Rexon, good for both. Ridiculous stuff from the Malusi. Case control as well. As Yaga hops in, tries to salvage things from the bathroom. He, too, has to push through a single door. He, too, walking into a crossfire. Ambi good for it. Only 2 rounds in a row, but it's good enough to get the Rebellion back in the lead on map point. It's only their pick. They've had to fight for it. But just one more round, and they'll get another advantage in the series tonight.
Next time we do a fantasy, I'm picking Wrexham. I feel
Not a
like
bad
he is
idea.
so undervalued. And the thing is, it maybe wouldn't work in that sort of scenario because that's just purely numbers based. And the way that I think, the way that I'm thinking about him is maybe a little bit more subjective. It's not the kills that he gets, it's just the importance of them. Winning both of those gunfights there, it just cements the round. The cement was already going off, but he's just time skipped 24 hours, 2 days, and it's cured, and it's as solid as a rock now, and there's no way that SR are going to lose the round. It's the importance and the positioning that he finds himself in so many times.
Attackers have located
It's
a bomb.
really, really impressive. Shopify played at just about every single level so far in this Lair matchup. And OXG, to their credit, they've kept pace. Hence why we are in an overtime. But it's Shopify on the map point.
5 seconds left.
And off the back of such excellent utility play on the defense, it's going to be a big threat, even if this goes all 15. The kind of play that, if it works, you are stuck with little options to close out the round. See how their attacking side fares, as OXG have quite a lot of tools in their toolkit as well. No Tubero, not going for any breach denial. Instead, it's a pretty much a repeat of the bulk of their R6 room lineup up until this point, with some, albeit important, variations. You got the Tachanka, you got the Clash, you got the Smoke, right? We expect all of those things, the Warden as well. But bringing in the Fenrir, an operator we've not seen from OXG on R6 room specifically. And that could allow, if anybody tries to go for a little bit of these flanks, whether walking up Skybridge, whether walking up the staircase, just to deal with those F-Knots. It's just a small thing, but coming in this late in the game on this site in particular could be very impactful for OXG, and is just one thing that the Rebellion will have to keep an eye on.
Kind of surprised that Yoga didn't stick around for a little bit longer, but I guess he's worried about the pressure from below, although that has gone.
How has
Zambi
Andy died?
falls to a smoke canister as well. Very unclear on that one. He was downed and he's been finished off by the smoke. Thrown below. Ambi trying to make those vertical angles on the Deimos and really getting punished for it. Yoga could be allowed to push up a little bit more aggressively now. I know that he's got some of the floor open at his feet, but instead Forrest is just going to troll him instead and say, no, you're actually staying in the site. Unfortunately, you're not allowed out there. Atom comes in with a big C4 kill onto Rexon. And we are like a runaway train headed toward round 15 right now.
Looking destined for it. Adam also trying to take advantage of some off angles just to add that little bit of extra flair for OXG. If not, will trigger. Thankfully found, but Canadian will still have to walk through that door to the breach, and you still have those toxic canisters, still have the Shumikas. Walking through this breach and this door is always difficult for the attack, but with Adam at this angle, it's just not gonna happen. Does let Canadian slip by, unfortunately. Get put to such low HP by the M59. Fire is easy to take him down afterwards. Look at how aggressive Yaga getting on that clash. Just plants the shield, swings around for the kill. Nice little two-piece for Surf, but unfortunately there's so much work to do. I don't think he can do it. He does dodge the fire, and no, Forrest takes him down through the smoke. All 15 required between this very lengthy bout on layer. SR need one round to take their pick, but if OXG snatch it away, SR might have the momentum, but I think OXG will feel really good going into Nighthaven, and that might just be enough.
It's like full panic stations when it's been, 3 versus 3 or whatever the numbers is. And all of a sudden it's like Surf versus 2. And you just think, oh, we've got to give him the benefit of the doubt here. Because it's very possible.
I started to.
I could feel it. I could feel it in your voice. You were like, oh, this is no, like we got to rewind a little bit. Like this is now doable because of who it is. He's just got that sort of a reputation now. The amount of clutches that he's been able to pull off. I mean, OXG were throwing themselves at him, and they had the redundancy to do so. They had the backline players, and it was always going to be a very tough ask for him to pull it off. But it did feel like it could have been possible for a brief period of time. OXG matching Shopify Rebellion here, blow for blow. And as such, all available rounds will now be played. Now, of course, OXG won upstairs on their first round of overtime. So they are going to be going to the mid-floor site. It is the mid-floor site that requires the most control of this top floor. Something that we have seen OXG struggle with a little bit. Getting run just a little bit ragged. Ambu in particular had a fantastic round playing the Fenrir on site, but very similar to the way that we saw SR approaching the first round of overtime. Doing the same here in round 15. They're bringing a lot of denial for getting into the building. We're not talking smokes, we're not talking Tachankers, although they do have a smoke. It's mainly that Two-Brow and that Cade, and they are going to make breaching very difficult indeed.
This is SR's late game strategy. Bring it out in OT to try and get one over on Oxygen. It was the Impacts and the Zotos before, and now the Two-Brow and the Cade both. You'd love to see that adaptation from any team this late in the game to try to get one over on their opponents, and it might just work out. For the moment, OXG have not run into it yet, but with one electrified wall right on the opposite side, they will have to reconcile with this hard breach denial momentarily. The full breadth of it, all placed upstairs, one Electroclaw and Rex and the Two-Brow physically present on the top floor too. Already reaching the halfway point of the round, not at all bad necessarily. How are OXG going to deal with this problem, this Bastion stuck on the top floor? Rixer, he goes around the corner, looking to get information, but behind the deployable shield. This Dokubi call might go out, the Zotos too, but Surf feeling strong with that shotgun in hand, and I don't think OXG have a way just yet.
Rix is just going to be slowed down on that doorway. It's the Zoto canister, it's the smoke canister. Minute 15. Haven't really gained anything meaningful. It's nothing that's going to lead them to making that plant go down any easier. Forrest is going to be knocking on the door of the site, can choose to open that wall now as well. It isn't an ideal angle by any stretch, and with players still vertically, it's going to be very difficult. You're asking a lot of the Capitao here as Forrest starts to attempt this plant. The C4 ripped and ready, sent over, but misses. Forrest comes off the defuse, has to reposition. They've still got time here, OXG. They just need to stabilize.
They've still got time and a utility advantage as well. Both C4s used, all toxic canisters gone. That bait worked out, at least to bait some things, at least to get some momentum, but now they're committing to the clear again, trying to make use of that advantage. Surf just barely gets away, dropping down that hatch in the nick of time. Yet OXG continue to find these frags. Every single one goes their way. Ambi with a 1v4 long angle. It's not gonna happen. OXG seems stalled on the top floor. And then a quick fake down below with another rotation up top. I've never seen a team that quick on their feet, and boy, does it pay off.
OHG have matched pace so far tonight here with SR, and they have really snatched that win from SR's hands. With the way that that round had played out, the pacing of it, and the Rebellion trying to go for that sort of lockout style of, we are just going to bring wall denial and we are going to make it difficult for you to get in. And OHG have operated at every single level. We'll be back after a short break.
Here earlier, Shopify Rebellion now find themselves down 1-0 in the series against OXG. One more map loss, and they will be out of SI contention, both through the regional finals and through the points, Ollie. And given the praises we were lavishing upon this team, both before this map and even during and even a little bit after the map that we just saw, that would still be a shame for a team this storied and this talented.
It really would, you know, and it felt to me like it was a game that, it felt like one of those games where OXG had almost felt like they'd won it before they'd won it once we'd got into the overtime and once we were at 7-7, because it was like, right, they've got the defense, they know what they need to do, and OXG just found that extra gear. And I like to throw OXG into that category of teams that is very capable of upsetting the apple cart. We rarely see OXG and we rarely talk about them as a top tier team inside of North America. But equally, we don't talk about them as a bottom tier team either. We've got plenty of those already. They are that middle of the pack team that have got upsets in them. And it's not an upset as in like they should win. I mean, let's be honest, it was Lair, it was Shopify's map choice. They should be winning that map choice. We know them to be a very good team on that map. But when there's something a little bit bigger on the line, OHG can come out and it's brilliant to see. There's every chance right now, Links, that we're going to be sat here in a couple of hours' time getting stuck into Cafe, because who knows what this series has in store for us.
Already, I'm a little bit surprised based off the ban phase. We have the very standard hard breach denial ban, Cade and Bandit both taken off the board. That's expected for any team on the attacking side of Nighthaven. And yet we don't have the double hard breach ban from the Rebellion. Last night against SSG, and generally on Nighthaven, by the way, most of the time you see the Cade Bandit and then usually like Hibana Ace. Maybe like a ranged breacher and Thermite, but generally see 2 breaches. Then the third of the four hard breaches comes in later on down the line. Here, the Rebellion have banned Dokkaebi and Nomad. Dokkaebi obviously great for lurking, saw Gomez using her quite a lot on layer, but a Nomad also good, of course, for flank watch, but specifically getting control of IT, opening up that breach, putting the air jabs inside, and controlling how aggressive the defense can get on this second floor. Whether that's the reason that the Rebellion decided to ban Nomad, I'm not sure. But it is one of the consequences of it, as these attacking bans are quite atypical for what we typically see on Nighthaven and what we saw from the Rebellion just yesterday.
I'd have to agree. Starting off on the attack then, OXG. The mirror is going to cause them a few problems here. It seems like, whereas inside of Lair, we saw them sort of resort to difficult tactics for letting OXG open up walls. That's coming straight out of the gate here on Nighthaven Labs, which, let's be honest, isn't too unusual. Nighthaven is all about the breaching. And ideally, you want a very astute Maverick player on your team to make that job a lot easier. Typically, you will end up on a Mav eventually. Even if other hard breach is available, it'll just make the job a lot easier for you. Leaving the Clash up, big surprise as well. As you mentioned, Lynx, not something that you want Canadian to have in his arsenal, is it? Because he should be able to just command areas with that. Although, opening pick is going to go OHG's favor at him. Takes Spoit down. Spoit trying to play that Rafters position on the Azami. And quite handily dealt with. Clash or not, it's not going to help keep him safe. Although a pocket reinforcement will further fortify the site and maybe buy Shopify back a little bit of time here.
the time they'll need, you want to get a little bit more out of that rafters hold from the Azami. I mean, a pocket reinforcement right now isn't bad. And, you know, things can't go perfectly, but you would like to have those Kibas for later in the round. Ooh, Surf hitting that barricade. Gomez immediately sprints past, and Surf not suffering any fools in round one. Gomez understandably tries to get aggressive, but I think if he overestimates or underestimates, I suppose, the sound generated by that barbed wire. Really good counter swing by Surf. As OXG starting to hit a little bit of a stall. They got that bit of garage control, then it was reinforced off. The Aqua backstab doesn't work out. That's an important dimension, an added layer to their attacking strategy taken away from them. And with Yaga and Adam both on low HP, despite it being a 4v4, with the Clash Up, the C-Force too, even with no toxic canisters, with the little bit of utility they have, but the angles in the defense's possession, it seems to really favor the defensive side right now. As Grixer and Yaga both push in, take IT, move through the breaches. Explosion at Yaga's feet, yet no damage sustained. Not checking the corner underneath the B-bomb chassis. Rexon's classic position, and as he's prone, sitting in the corner, again another double, another multi-kill perhaps. No, he'll win it off time instead. A 3K there yesterday against SSG, a double there today. If OXG have done their homework, they need to get a lock on that position next go around.
Yeah, they'll be kicking themselves about that one, won't they? Wrexham playing exact same spot yesterday and seeing the same end result. Another round where the opening pick doesn't indicate the way that the round goes either. It was Atom onto Spoit there, not converted and not traded. But it all coming down to a Wrexham 1 versus 1 in the end. I feel like that's maybe a bit of a sigh of relief for SR right now because things really haven't been going their way. So to get a round up there, much needed at this point. Downstairs we go now. The very intel heavy lineup. Look at that. Valkyrie, Pulse, 3 C4s. Nothing in terms of wall denial though. It's going to make it a little bit easier here for OXG. Maybe them reading into that a little bit as we see a full 6-pick come out there for them. It's always nice to have something for the walls, but it's by no means a necessity. Especially if you're playing with quite a lot of C4s, you are going to be playing for a little bit of denial. And the information game should be doing the lion's share of the work here for SR. Just relies on somebody being on those black eye cameras, and of course Canadian playing that pulse that he knows so well. Should be able to find themselves a little bit of success here, although they're not going for a full roam, but with that level of information, you don't always need to.
Slow beginnings in the first 45. Giving the respect due to Spoit up top, but not getting caught off guard by him. Nobody really in trading distance of Spoit, and so despite Yaga losing a lot of HP and potentially a 50-50 gunfight, he comes away the victor. Damaged, but victorious nonetheless. So with the 5v4, that breach giving anybody throwing a boogie drone through at a bit of trouble, as Ashen suffered something similar last night. You still are in the clear to open up these vertical angles, start applying that pressure to the middle floor. By all intents and purposes, a very successful early round. Not a guarantee of success, obviously, as we just saw the round, or saw in round one. Still quite nice. As it seems, by and large, while Surf and Ambi are still on the middle floor, Surf playing a bit further back on the staircase, supported by the intel. It's actually Rexon and Ambi on the upside, excuse me, just Ambi, who's still playing pretty aggressive.
Boogie drone's going to run through now. This is where the information game starts to come into effect, though. Canadian able to dish that information out to the rest of his team. If you linger for too long on that top floor, you might end up paying for it with your life. I'm not sure if he knows that the player's just sat inside of Animus right now. He's been on the scanner a couple of times, but look at Rexon go. Finds 2. Atom left to try and pick up the pieces here. As OXG try and maintain this flank, but it's Rexon all day. The mirror just lurking upstairs and finding a plethora of kills.
Unfortunately, not enough of surf exposed on that angle, so Yogg will have a much harder task ahead to secure any of the kills in this 1v3. I think Rexon, by the way, also downed Adam upstairs, so even though technically not a 4K, I believe he is responsible for the player up top. Yup, indeed, there's the ace for Rexon. What was the word you described? You believe Rexon is undervalued? Well, you might have been onto something there, because Rexon making immense value in round 2. Whole lot of impact with that vector.
It's exactly as I said. The positioning and the value of the kills that he gets. They are always important kills, unless he's left in like a 1vx, and then of course you're going to end up with a few exit frags, aren't you? But 9 times out of 10, I feel like Rexon is getting impactful frags, and the positioning, I mean, the positioning goes sort of hand in hand with the fact that it's impactful, doesn't it, right? But a great play there. Brilliant timing, taking advantage of a flank that's just not really being held. And don't forget, we've gone from a map like Labs where it's not really too possible to get a flank off like that on Labs. A lot of the time you're sort of trying to set up a bit of an onion sort of defense. You're trying to build in some layers. Whereas on Labs, there's loads of opportunity for a flank. It's a very different level of defense. You're not necessarily setting up a real tight onion of utility. It's a lot looser, and there's a lot more ability for players to stretch the legs and roam around a little bit. Hence why we see Spoit play one of his favorites here and now. Going downstairs to the kitchen, and he loves a little bit of Scopus on this site. It just gives him that level of flexibility where he can hang around on the top floor for a good portion of the round, get himself into a bit of bother, and he's always got the option to teleport back.
Very rarely see him even teleport back. Oftentimes he either just lives or dies on that top floor, which is just kind of the name of the game when you're up there. Not really his fault all that much. You roaming in that position, especially being Spoit, you're going to face a lot of pressure. Won't really be given the opportunity to recall back. Actually able to get that opening pick last time and have done a very good job in the early game so far. It's the biggest thing we can give them credit for. So I think Spoit will have his work cut out for him in the early game. He's on the opposite side of where Gomez is for the moment, as it is usually just Spoit up top, maybe one other person. But the bulk of the defense will be in kitchen dining or around the 90 hallway where you see Ambi playing right now. To be expected. Introduction of the Valkyrie is quite nice. We'll give not only that intel to Spoit, but also if those cams weren't spotted by the IQ, which given the presence of an IQ seems unlikely, could facilitate a retake later on, depending how thorough and careful OXG are. At least for the minute, Gomez firing some shots on Ambi. Could have been a headshot right there, but just tags him up a little bit. Finds the camera, but nothing gained. Still a 5v5 at the halfway point.
A little bit of a slow round, isn't it, by the standards that we've been used to? Especially throughout Lair with some of the pace that OXG was bringing to their attacks. I always worry when I see players stacking up outside of a window like that. You wonder, is that the strategy? Are they just going to try and jump in? They've got a bit of support from above from Gomez. I don't feel like it's going to be enough. There is only one C4, so they've at least got that going for them in terms of denial. Realistically, you're going to need a bit more than that to try and get the job done, especially when you've still got players like Spoit and Rexon quite literally back-to-back inside of the kitchen. Flash comes out, Spoit's ready for that hop-in if and when it arrives, and Canadian could be on for a flank.
Could be on for a flank, but Adam ready for it. Track Stinger's on the stairs and still watching the flank. Level of thoroughness I don't think the Rebellion were fully ready for, but low time into the site is going to be difficult for OXG. You can stop the walk off the site, but on it itself is a greater issue. Rexon 8-0 at the moment, and a very real possibility to break double digits in this round. Adam looking to challenge that exact angle, might walk up the hallway instead. Less than 10 remaining. No possession of the case. Adam walks through. There's Spoit instead with the frag. Rexon on for another. Will he get that lucky 10th? Not today. Stuck at 9. Spoit getting active in that one as 3 in a row for the Rebellion. Basically just brushing off Lair as if it didn't even happen.
Yeah, it's a GG go next, isn't it? Reset the mental, get themselves straight back into this game. But it's not to say we didn't see them have a good start on Lair. OXG were a bit of a slow burn over on Lair. certainly finished strong. That clash ban coming in, things aren't going to be as easy now for Shopify. Particularly when you look at this top floor defense. Clash is Canadians' mainstay for this top floor. You better believe that OXG know it, hence the ban. Also, bringing out tactical timeout. OXG need to try and upset the apple cart a little bit here. I mean, they're doing everything that they can, Lynx. Atom's had 2 opening picks. Yoga's had the other. Every single one of these rounds, the advantage has been with OXG. And that's a kill that hasn't been traded either. Quite literally dealing off value from Rexon inside of rounds 1 and 2. And then just a kind of lack of strategy on the 3rd choice bomb site.
Yeah, for kitchen dining, there at least does seem to be some kind of greater failing. You know, the first kill just coming at 37 seconds when Canadian goes for a flank that, let's be honest, he probably didn't even need to. I don't even think he was committing to the flank there. I think he thought better of it, but then Adam decides to pre-fire. But an extremely late execute, as you kind of hinted at. Rexon, to be fair, I will say getting a double as well. But the multi-kill was not the reason they wanted. It was a big clutch from Rexon to start, an ace in round 2. In 2 different ways as well. Rexon just playing the position he normally plays on this site around the B bomb chassis, and then the other one going for a flank. It's not even like in the other 2, OXG lost the round in a consistent way, though I suppose you could draw some kind of thread between rounds 1 and 3 about executing a little late, funneling in through doors or breaches, maybe. We'll have to see if that's something that OXG tries to solve for. As we go for the retry of the 2nd floor, I said I would love to see some mind played to Rexon in that position. That doesn't mean you have to deal with him via verticality, but he's been a problem for SSG yesterday and now OXG today playing that exact same spot. You got to see some mind paid to it.
Absolutely, it's not something that you can continue to ignore, is it? Telegraph now, you know that it's going to be happening. You need to come up with a strategy for it. I don't think that will have been the sole focus of the timeout, but it may have been a part of it. Opening up these breaches, still being a little bit of a problem, but nothing that a hard breach gadget can't sort out, at least for the connector window. Grixer on ace should be able to make something happen over on IT as well. Now, there was a brilliant clear of Catwalk previously. Atom did a good job of getting in there and removing Spoit. The Azami has remained through this ban phase, partly due to Canadians' prowess on the clash. It's kind of pick your poison. And the fact that Azami was dealt so handily in round number 1, it kind of feels like a bit of a wasted opportunity there at further weakening the side of SR right now. We know that Spoit can play that Rafters position and play it well, so if he's got a little bit more support this time, things might be slightly different for him.
We'll have things like the Candelas to worry about, though. Not on his exact side of the map at the moment. Could easily come his way. Ooh, unfortunate missed impact by Spoit, and he'll even rotate away. You lose the Miro in the process. Thankfully, have a Kiba to place there, but you obviously cannot look through that. Oh, wow, what a find by Gomez. Not quite what I had in mind when I meant deal with the B-bomb chassis players, but that'll be good enough for me. Spoit ducking back into the A site, playing behind the Kiba, also falls to Gomez. Not finished off, but the Flores from IT has single-handedly opened this round up. Candelo, unfortunately, blind him and force him back. Forrest also moving a bit deeper. Ambi will retake over by Aqua. Yaga by himself. Falls to the AR-15. But OXG have full uncontested control of the B site, but only the B site. Surf can look out of it. Spoit can contest as well. While players are falling, there's still an admirable fight being mounted by the Rebellion. Ambi coming up to join Spoit. With the Zowie on low HP, you need this extra gun and this extra support. Forced finally in a position to put this case down. Gomez calmly, methodically clearing these angles. Pistol goes out. Spoit gets him in the process. Swings around despite the C4. Now it's just the Azami and the 1v2. Diffuser should go down successfully, and indeed it will. Close with the shotgun. Force gets activated, and extra lethal the moment that case gets activated. OXG pick up there first, and all credit goes to the man on your screen, Gomez himself, for an excellent performance on the IT side.
I don't know how he manages to slip into rafters like that. I was giving it the big one about Spoit playing as Army and rafters, and we cut to his camera, and he's on the connector mirror window. And you're thinking, all right, great, you can throw a, throw an impact. It misses the impact. The Selma still goes off. Okay, great, you can throw the Keeper barricade. But what have you had to pay to, what was the price of that Keeper barricade? Well, the price was the round, because nobody was inside of rafters. Gomez has just been allowed to stroll in. Can't be giving rafters control away like that. Gomez even shot the C4 with the pistol, for goodness sake. Like, sure, he dies to Spoit, but goodness me. Big round for OXG to collect there. Off the back of a timeout as well. It might be a sign of things to come here.
10 seconds to go.
Shopify have done well so far in this fixture to get themselves a healthy lead.
5 seconds
But
remaining.
we all know that OXG have always got a little bit of gas left in the reserve tank.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
And they are
and defuse
always
it.
one to sprint toward the finish line. They showed us that on Lair. It took them a couple of rounds to get going on Lair. It's taken them one more here. But finally, they've broken that curse. Maybe now they can start to try and build on it. They're going to be attacking the basement. It's the same lineup that Shopify Rebellion are running here. We've got a lot of information. The Valkyrie, the Pulse, 3 C4s, and plenty of time and area denial. What's the response? Well, from OXG, it's something slightly different. They're not going to be rocking the same RAM IQ lineup. Oh, excuse me, they do have the IQ. They're not going to be rocking the RAM lineup. They do have the IQ, but they've also bringing the Monty as well this time. That should just help them bully things around a little bit more on the site. And could help with a couple of those explosives as well.
Be thankful if he does. It's always something that I think works better in theory than in practice, just because sometimes the C4s get thrown up pretty rapidly and they're hard to spot. You'd still be happy for it, especially just to spot those Valkyrie cameras and the Pulse as well through the floor. A lot of intel gathering for the Rebellion at the moment, and even some mind being paid to the verticality up top. They've got the Buck, so it's not like this is the only bit. And OXG are preoccupied getting on the second floor of the Skeleton Key. Can move down to the middle, open things up if they want to. Grixer is also up top. Very slow attack so far. That's not intrinsically a bad thing, but it could be problematic, especially with Spoit still playing around the middle floor. Could see somebody move up the stairs and play for a retake later in the round. Who's going to blink first on this engagement? Are either party aware of the other? Or is it just a case of timing and which one gets the better of it?
It really feels like that, doesn't it? It's painfully slow right now. For all that they've brought them onto, you'd expect a little bit more speed, and even if it's just going to assist this roam clear a little bit more. Grixer's still trying to do a bit of work vertically with this Skeleton Key. All 3 C4s are still available, by the way. It's going to be an explosive end, and make no mistake. Surf on the close angle. Like, Forrest, you can't just hop through. Where's the info? At least Gomez gets a trade. But this is where we start to see the util come through.
And that trade, by the way, is on a player that was just sitting up top. That kill is a bit more impactful. You get the smoke close on the corner. You get the advantage as well. Unfortunate that Gomez isn't able to do it. Ambi threatening the retake I hinted at earlier will make it a reality. Shoot the drone in the process. Grixer are aware of it. OXG still have the advantage, but if Ambi gets this kill, oh my god, huge from Grixer, huge from OXG. Seems like it's all for naught as Forrest gives his life away to Surf, and yet with the frags, OXG able to keep things locked down.
OXG really pulling it out of the bag there. Got a little bit nervous for him when the time starts running low and you see Forrest run in and it doesn't pan out. But they are so quick to react, so quick to respond.
The diffuser.
Gomez been toying with Spoit for what felt like the whole round. And it was one of those examples, and don't forget, Lynx, we saw this a couple of times yesterday, where SR just stay a little bit too long out on that roam game. They just commit to it ever so slightly too much, and it really costs them. And it's not always like necessarily their fault, so to say. Some of the times it's because they just plainly can't get back because they're cut off or whatever. But it just feels like there's sometimes a bit of an overcommitment to that roam.
10 seconds left.
Could also, maybe not technically the roam, but also argue that just Ambi on that flank, fully committing to it. Then again, I also think it's a... I'm not really going to blame him for saying yes to it, because if you flank and then you threaten the guy on the vert, that makes the side execute a lot more difficult. So honestly, retract what I said. Like, I get Ambi doing it, and like you said, I don't think it's anybody's fault. I don't think anybody's wrong. It's just sometimes unintended consequences. 50-50 gunfights going awry, little moments not going your way. Also, I think you got to give a lot of credit to, I think it was only one kill, but I think you still got to give credit to Yogg inside of the site as well. Just kind of working picks and finding timings down below. There's a lot of small things that needed to go right for OXG there, and thankfully for them, they all did. 1 round away from a tie game on their map pick, but this is one that SR looked pretty decent on yesterday against SSG. Sure was a max OT 7-8 loss, but that's still 14 rounds, or sorry, excuse me, not 14 rounds, still 6 rounds that SR were able to win. But now here, you have middle floor defense. First time we've seen this particular middle floor site. This cafeteria kitchen was the one played previously. Very minimal vert for OXG at the moment. Looks like a lot of this will be based on the execute and trying to get forced inside of the site itself.
Can OXG make it 3 out of 3? It will have been a very successful timeout if they do that, because a couple of the first rounds weren't that close in all reality. They somehow have managed to pull it out of the bag over the last couple of rounds, and whether it's by time or just sheer gun skill, in the moment it feels like they are better. Forest,
What is he doing?
He's a nightmare, and he scares me every time he does it, especially when he's got the diffuser. He's playing the glass, trying to play in his own smoke, tanks the C4. Or was it the Capcan trap? I can't see, because guess what? Neither can he. Grixer, now next one in, manages to circumnavigate the vert that often falls people and trips them up. And this is where the kills start to come. Canadian and Rexon back-to-back picking up a few, leveling things out and giving a slight advantage right now. But as the swing comes through, no, Grixer, how does he pick that kill up? Left on 1 HP, and now the advantage briefly back with Oxygen.
Briefly back with Oxygen, but fully so as Grixer able to dance around that corner, recover the diffuser with Canadian down below. A constant threat that the Thermite had to worry about, but it's picked back up, rotates to the other site, and as Spoit goes around the corner, Yogg is ready for it. Canadian, unfortunately, got to march back up. Excellent pre-fire, almost flicks on Adam too, but it's another recovery from OXG. Forrest with the diffuser goes down early, and yet somehow with less than a minute remaining, less than 40 seconds remaining in round 5, they find a way through, get 3 in a row, and tie the half. Slow release Addy might need to pop another is crazy.
I didn't catch the first message. I was like, what? Slow release what? Like, I don't know sometimes about this team. Like, I'm not saying that Forrest was trolling, but for them still to win when he's pulling stuff like that, it just begs belief. The fact that OXG have been able to salvage a 3-3 split here. Now, SR still have a couple of things going for them. They still have their tactical timeout, which is, of course, massive. And they've still got the ability to pull this game back. We know them to be a team that's capable on labs, and we know them to be able to attack this map. However, the way that momentum has shifted so far inside of this series, you do start to worry a little bit. 45% win percentage on the attack for SR. Their lowest preference map. That doesn't always mean that it's a horrendous map for them. If it was a really bad map, then you'd hope that they would have banned it out, because this is a best of 3 and you get a couple of bans. However, you're always going to go to a map that you are less comfortable on. You've just got to navigate that to the best of your ability. I don't want to sit here for 1 second and believe that this isn't a map that SR ever want to play, given that they've played it twice in the last 2 days. Either that, or their map pool is really small, and I also don't believe that to be the case.
I just don't believe, I don't believe that whatsoever.
So you've got to look at this and go, okay, 8th preference map, but they played it yesterday, and it was damn close. It was 8-7. So we know that they are capable. However, it's a must-win half. They cannot accept anything less than a win out of this map. Otherwise, SI is not in their hands in the slightest. Because if you think that regional finals and NAL in general is a little bit crazy, you wait until you start getting teams that are qualifying for invite through through the qualifier. It gets wild.
It gets crazy down there. You don't want to bet anything on it. And just having Dark Zero, the Oregon, a team led by Canadian, but both in SI LCQ, and that's the only way they can qualify to SI. It's a hell of a storyline. Like, lucky to whoever's casting that one. Very easy narrative to write for that game. But for the teams themselves, and even for the North American scene to some extent, it'd be quite tragic. And yet for OXG, how nice would it be? They don't qualify off by winning this game, but to stay alive, to keep their chances at kind of channeling some of that wild card energy, being the underdog, surprising everybody, making good on some of those promised improvements. I wouldn't be complaining about that whatsoever. Then again, I support everyone, and I want everyone to win, so I'm a bit biased there. Let's see if it happens here. See if it starts in round 7. It's half the round gone. SR have worked their way into the middle floor and be in a position to apply some vert. He's already done so. But a lot will come down to where these Candelas land, where these smoke and firebolts land as well.
There is also a weird scenario where the road to SI isn't actually that complicated or that difficult in these regional finals either, given that SSG and M80 have both already qualified. I don't exactly know how that works, if it does drop down to the 3rd place. But it might not be that you need to win the whole thing dependent on the results of positions 1 and 2. I mean, obviously the teams are just focusing on the games that are in front of them. Other people will be worrying about that for them. But worth bearing in the back of your mind that it isn't the most difficult thing to get to SI off the back of these regional quals, given that 2 teams that are favourites at the moment have already qualled. It just puts even more pressure onto these games here and now. In this round, you can almost feel the pressure. You could cut it with a knife. There's 35 seconds and there's 10 players alive, Links. We've been flapping our gums and we've got Yoga close on the electrical breach, shotgun in hand, Canadian drawing for the Candela. Is it going to be enough?
And we'll have to see. Candela finally sent out as Spoit gets the first 2 kills. More utility being dumped, as I just don't think that gun is meant for that engagement, Yaga. Almost a flawless round. Adam only getting 1 kill in the process. SR spent a lot of time, but that's the exact round you want to see if there's a big build-up. Every piece falling into place at the same time, clear comms, clear coordination, great play off the back of that utility. But even before that, great double kill from Spoit to open it up.
I want to see the double kill from Spoit because we were really focused in on the little mini game that was going on between Yoga and Canadian. Canadian had a player in behind him as well, just backing him up there inside of Electric. But Spoit just opened it up like a tin of beans. Straight in there, not 1 but 2 on the entry. SR doing a really good job of taking firm control in round 1 and sending a little bit of a message. And I feel like OXG, they're that kind of team you need to send the message to. You need to let them know you're still in the fight here. Because OXG have just streaked another 3 rounds in a row. They did the same over on Lair, don't forget. They got 4 rounds in a row on Lair. Now they've been stopped from doing that here. And SR have regained a brief lead. OXG are going to stick to a rotation. Not going to attempt upstairs again and instead going to switch things up. Take us downstairs and look to try and play a little bit more of a time game. Still got the Goyo canisters. That's basically a requirement. And they've not doubled down onto the information either in the same way that SR did. They've not got the Valkyrie and the Pulse, just the Pulse. Bringing a little bit of architect ability in the Azami as well. But it's mainly the Warden and the Solace that are the big differences here. Warden, of course, because you're anticipating that Canadian is going to be playing on the Blitz, and it's never a bad thing to bring. The Solace, for me, really is the question mark. Was Forrest outside of the building there for a second?
He was shooting a drone. He was shooting a drone.
Since when did you become a Forrest defender?
Well,
or a Forrest sympathizer?
Ever since I witnessed what happened right there. He was hopping out to shoot a drone. He immediately hopped back in, okay?
I just saw a flash of green and was like, get back in. Now's not the time.
Defend Forrest right now. His #1 advocate. Dokubi call going out. Solace spotted by both the call and the Deathmark tracker, and yet it doesn't really seem like I was about to say, it doesn't really seem like Gomez is about to get shut down momentarily. Seems like he'll be fine for the time being. They at least know a Solus is there. They've got a Z-ping on somebody else. I think that's the Warden through the wall, perhaps? Yeah, that's Adam. Now down in the process. Spotted by Spoit up above. Doing great on these opening picks so far. Put things in a 3v5 in round 7, now a 5v4 in round 8. And looking to launch another Deathmark tracker. This time it's the Azami getting spotted. Yaga can easily fall back, though. It's ironic that these bits of utility, it's ironic that all of the utility that we often talk about at the beginning of the round has gotten very little play, unfortunately. It is used to some effect, but the Blitz goes down, the Deathmark tracker is down early too. Both Dokubi calls utilized as well. Perhaps it was the reason for some of those kills, but whatever the reason is, move to a 3v3 as OXG retreat.
OXG in a really good position to retreat here as well. Probably got a couple of Vulcan packs. In fact, we can see one already there. Grix has still got his C4 as well. And more importantly, the pulse scanner to try and gain information off the back of it. They know that Surf is at the breach, and you can make a pretty well-educated guess that that's going to be the player that has the breach, has the diffuser. A couple of players above. Rexon's left open in his own angles with 35 seconds left. You should be able to avoid that, really. And even still, it kind of telegraphs his position to Grixer, right? Grixer gets a bit more idea of where to use that scanner. Gonna drop the hatch now into Exo. Maybe look for a little bit of a pinch here onto the final two players. Ambi finds a really important kill onto Yoga. There's still a C4 in play.
Still a C4 in play, and not clear if Surf will plant behind Rexon, but if he does, that C4 could just plop right at their feet. And not a whole lot of time to shoot it. Force trying to find the angle, but Surf's gone on the opposite side. Great rotation, great to plan in that off spot. Doesn't seem like that'll even matter all that much, as Ambi and Rexon holding things down on the cross are doing quite well so far. Ambi goes down, but Force so low, it's an easy kill for Surf. Good rotation in the late game by SR, putting the pieces together in that 3v3, continuing with one of the strengths we've seen from them. Just playing well in those positions and always being sharp in these very tight, close man advantage or man equilibrium situations.
SR increasing the lead by 1 there again. You just know that Canadian isn't going to be happy tonight until the games are done. And even then, it's still going to be the same story. The job isn't finished. Still a fair old road to go. If SR keep managing to pull rounds out like that, and it goes unresponded, OXG are going to find themselves on Cafe very quickly indeed. And at that point, maybe start wondering, should Labs have gone that way? Or should SR have just got it done in 2? When it's a close game, all 15 rounds played, kind of got to start asking yourself those questions sometimes. SR only a couple of rounds away from guaranteeing that third map, sending it essentially just into a straight shootout, best of 1.
5 seconds left before insertion.
And OXG now need to find an answer. They've used that tactical timeout already. That's what got them the 3 rounds on the attack. Unfortunately for them, they don't have another timeout here on the defense. They need to figure this out themselves internally. Looks like they're going to continue to stick to that rotation that they've set themselves as well.
Changing mag.
And not the dining site, but storage and control this go around. Which means you will have a bit more concerted of a defense of the second floor. A couple more players up there, while still maintaining a robust force actually on the site. No C4s though. And while SR don't know that and might never really fully get the picture on that, just the nature of the game, it does mean that we know that there's not that much threat of somebody rotating down below and denying the plan. I mean, Grixer could do it with a shotgun, and I guess somebody could do it with impact grenades technically, but they don't exactly screen that option. Whereas previously, when SR were defending this site, you had Canadian go below tonight with a C4, and it really tripped OXG up. So SR a little bit more limited there. It means they will have to invest a bit more energy in defending that top floor because the basement or denying it from below isn't really an option.
Setting hard breach.
But hey, OXG have the clash. They can absolutely do it.
Problem is, Clash is being played by Forest, so you never really know what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's true.
You're either going to get genius, or you're going to get something that's going to leave you scratching your head 3 days later when you're led in bed going, I really wonder what they were doing. Great value out of the shock drone there from Canadian. Prioritizing the information. Still leaves a lingering Goyo canister. He's going to be able to reposition a drone downstairs as well. Pre-placed. The mind of what would I do if I was playing and defending that site? Well, I'd probably try and play below with the C4. They have that base covered. Now as the flashes go in and the air jabs go out, the opening pick for Surf.
All
It's
right.
doubled down on. Ambi takes Gomez out. Canadians getting this plant down. Oh, gets stopped in the process. Downed and finished off. Fortunately, there's time to recover here, but SR are going to have to come up with a plan B.
And what do you know? Y'all did in fact go down below and I think use an impact grenade to open up that angle and take down Canadian. Making me eat my words. Forrest also retaking Garage with the clash. OXG have gone from seemingly out of round 9 to a very formidable threat. Forrest now rotating upstairs. Huge mid or late game frag by Surf. Cleared out down below, put OXG in the disadvantage and put Rexon in a spot to go for this defuse. Oh, nobody falls off. Adam clotheslines him on the way out, and suddenly OXG briefly again in control of the site. And SR not fully in control of the diffuser right now, but Ambi spots him. A nasty hip-fire headshot opener, and then that kill to end things off. SR with 3 in a row. Map point. Cafe just 1 away.
A very rare misstep from Rexon there. And you can see it's hurting him. They've won the round. He knows that it wasn't the right play. Maybe should have waited for the team to rally around him a little bit more. But it's Ambi to swoop in to the rescue. As, let's be honest, it so often is for this team. And that's not a bad thing. It's just the way that the cookie crumbles sometimes. Final round of bans here. And Maverick's gone. I haven't really seen a Maverick played up until this point, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we've seen it a couple of times. We've seen it in round on Command and Tellers. We've actually seen it in storage and control. So we have seen a little bit of Maverick play. It was OXG that didn't play the Maverick. I was getting a little bit confused there. Surf, another big round from him. 10-4 he is on the series, by the way. Also, I love how Ambi can get 2 kills in that round. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the Ambi show. Surf got 3, but it's just expected. He's just always putting in that hard work, and it's thankless. And when he gets a clutch, yeah, we give him his flowers and we give him a big up. But Ambi just needs to get a couple of flashy kills, and we're like, it's the Ambi show. And it isn't, but that's just the bit that you see. That's the bit that gets played in the replays, and you know, you get the instant reaction from him because he's screaming into the camera or he's stood up or something like that. And Surf's just chugging away. Hardest worker in the room at the moment at 11-4. Well, I guess tied with Rexon.
Yeah, for a little over the year that Surf has been on this, I guess a year and I think a couple months that Surf has been on this roster. He's been one of my favorite players to watch. And as you said, he's just always trotting along, putting in the work, shows up for a big clutch because he is that backline player. But the fraggers often get the attention and support, sometimes fall by the wayside. It's the nature of the game. It can be a thankless job. Him and Rexon both tied at 11-4 right now, and Surf with that 3K last round doing a great job. And also, let's be fair, you know, Rexon kind of cooling off a little bit. I think 9 of his kills were acquired in the first half. So while he's 11-4, that was it. He was a defensive player. It's Surf that's really been the attacking side menace for the Rebellion at the moment. Spoit as well with those opening picks around 7 and 8. Now potentially a 7-3 on Nighthaven, where it took them a full 15 rounds just to lose against SSG yesterday. Stunning OXG on their map pick and keeping themselves alive in the regional finals. Dokubi call ringing out through Nighthaven. MB will take kitchen control off the back of it. No kill acquired, but a nice angle, nice cutoff position right in the heart of the map in case anybody from OXG decides to rotate.
Forrest just doing his best to gather a little bit of information here. You know that breach is going to be getting opened. There's nothing that you can do about the bandit trick. Canadians seeing to that on the Zephyr of all things underneath. Bit of an oldie but a goldie. Guarantees getting that wall open. Kind of further throws into question the Maverick ban because what are you going to do? You're just going to play a Zephyr and a Thermite. Unless you're really targeting that hard breach, you're going to have a hard time. Depending on the way this goes, that could be a criticism that you look at in terms of OXG and their decisions of who to ban in this one. Because it does look a little bit all over the place. Teams either usually go for one or the other, focus the shields or focus the hard breach. Not sort of a hybrid of both. Spoit, wasting no time taking catwalk. Fire arrow to cut things off. Don't even think you can pocket reinforce that, otherwise you get burnt to a crisp. C4 comes out, but no one there. Spoit just now can watch this angle. Stick his own little gadget onto the wall and give himself a nice line to work with. He's also got Wrexham backing him up now from the single door.
Garage can be difficult to walk through, though. Might come down to Spoit just taking one of these fights. Well, there you go. Case in point. Not a site, but on the complete opposite side, a 5v4, still a 5v4. Spoit's third opening kill this half so far. Gomez with a quick response as the Capitão's friend falls just outside of IT. So Spoit will swing again. Has the key, but for cover, just a little bit. Doesn't have diffuser. That's Canadian. Where is this case coming in from? Is it the IT side? Yes, it is. A very late push as Surf pre-fires around the corner, but it's the pillar that's the greater issue. OXG with a lead as Ambi hits the floor. Spoit struggling to find impact on this side. Will finally meet one just around the corner. Pre-fire doesn't land. And on time, OXG stay alive. No regulation victory just yet. Each team has had a streak of 3 in a row. Did SRs just end? And will it result in another one for OXG?
Saying that they won the round, I'd like to see a little bit more enthusiasm and hype on the side of OXG. Gomez doesn't quite look defeated. Could argue that he's looking locked in. But it isn't the same energy that we see in the room when SR get a round win. Maybe it's because OXG know there's a little ways to go yet inside of this series. Seems a shame there for Spoit. 2 really nice kills to be felled at the final hurdle. Bit of a lack of information as well. There was an assumption that someone was playing close right on the electric door and a bit of a hefty pre-fire into essentially nothing. And they were actually a little bit deeper, repositioned just behind the pillar. So again, we seem to be sort of falling back into that labs mindset of information and it not quite being enough.
Camera feed up and running.
OXG still with 2 rounds to find here.
10 seconds
Downstairs
to
we go to the basement. Previous attempts at this site have resulted in SR wins. A lot of it coming down to Surf in the final few seconds, getting that plant down. And of course, which has been a consistent theme throughout the entirety of this attacking phase, an opening pick by Spoit. He's a 3 out of 4 opening picks so far. Of course, not counting this round, we'll see what happens. But he's been a bit of a menace on that, and Canadian. Is he looking to move quickly? Straight down cargo stairs? He's in the site in, what, 30 seconds, Lynx?
Well, he's in the side within 30 seconds, but we've got reinforcements and no feet holes, no head holes, no nothing on the bottom floor. He just immediately walked down cargo stairs and there was nobody looking his way. A full roam with no angles on the site. OXG practically giving it away. Still get the opening pick. First time this half, by the way. First time since round 4 that OXG will start out in the 5v4. Canadian just tanking that C4 by looking down with the shield and the defender starting to creep back to the site. It looked so free, and frankly, I think it was. I don't think that was a misjudgment on SR's part, but OXG's recovery is remarkable. Canadian on low health, now the last alive. If you had told me that this was going to be very likely a flawless round a minute ago, I would have laughed in your face, and yet it is. 2 rounds fly in the blink of an eye. OXG just 1 away from overtime.
That feels like a throwaway round for SR. I have no idea why they felt like that is what they need to go for when the game has been going this well for them up until this point. Sure, OXG just got a round win in round 10. That doesn't mean that you just need to lash out and send it down cargo stairs. Like, is it even any different if Canadian gets that first kill? The player was, you know, had his back to him, he was in the other side of the site. I don't even think it's different if that first kill comes in. There was no, like, real plan off the back of, right, we'll push down cargo stairs, but then what? Like, what's step 2 of the plan? That was pretty unclear. Canadian moved through, shot a, what did he shoot? Shot a bandit battery. There was a player that was next to him down there as well. And then OXG just realized, oh, they've pushed the site. Let's just, yeah, we'll just use the vert that we've made. Yeah, no worries. Like, we'll pick up some kills. Flawless.
10 seconds to insertion.
The way the game's been going, at this point in proceedings,
5
OXG are 1 round away from tying it up. We could be going to another overtime, and OXG could be walking further into these finals.
Bomb and defuse it.
Deploying heartbeat jammer ready.
Could very well do it. You really feel the momentum going their way. I mean, I see your point. I think I think part of it is fair, but at the same time, I'm just kind of amazed at how well that retake went up top. I mean, OXG had to kind of get all on the same page very quickly, win a lot of fights for that to go as smoothly as it did. Just kind of unbelievable that it all worked out that way. And so you have the top floor working, basement working. Of course, we have the tertiary. OXG giving a retry to storage and control. It was a bit of a weird one, if you recall. That Surf 3K at the end, though. Still a bit of a close affair through and through. Canadian back on the shield. Didn't play it last time, but will bring it out on this site. Where is he going to go? Surely not a hop in through the supply window. Maybe more like a hop in on the other side. Try and clear over by garage. Either way, it'll be a util to start. There's very little vertical destruction on the side of the Rebellion. So whatever they decide to do, it's going to be a lot more linear than I think they might otherwise like.
Spoit just managing to get that BP there. It did look like it was on the edge of the radius for it. He was desperately trying to find something to destroy to get a bit of value out of Flora's drone. Ooh, trade. Don't often see that. Ambi for Gomez. I don't know. You lose the Ash for the Kiba barricades on the Azami. It's got to favor SR, hasn't it? You've lost a little bit of that Architect's ability. You've lost those safe fortresses that you can make. Canadian picking up a kill onto Grixer. Maybe they just made us wait a little bit. Maybe they're giving the fans a little bit of excitement here because this round certainly looks to be going a little bit differently here for SR. 6-5. And a man advantage right now. Grixer down. C4 gone. Serve. Forrest. A genius toss. He'll pay for it, though. He'll pay for it with his life.
I cut on the rotate across. Canadian able to hit him with the nade. Adam spotting another, put Spoit so low. Yaga, no, not able to swing around. The timing doesn't go his way. Instead, it's Spoit with the alternative angle. A lot of highlighting. Yaga on the desk. Will he be able to make it despite coming out of the blind? Still able to land the headshot on Spoit. Rexon hopping out, now Canadian inside. Able to spot the Blackbeard as he falls off the diffuser, but with that shield back in his way, not only will it deny Yaga the opportunity for a kill, it gives Rexon the time to rotate up above, play these vertical angles, and Yaga has so little utility. This should be an SR post plant. Should be able to finish this one out so easily, and indeed, they will make it so. They make us wait a little bit. They need all 12 rounds, but SR push us to Cafe, and it's a best-of-1 shootout to see who makes it further and who's got an LCQ in just a few months.
It's one of the most difficult post plants in the game to try and retake from there. Yaga faced with an impossible task. And SR playing to that win condition, getting the plant down. It may have been a close game, but they have still got to fight here on Cafe. Is this where fatigue starts setting in for SR? We'll find out just after this. Mainly, I'll be honest, against NA teams, because we did see a heck of a lot of it played earlier on this year. So they've not really had too much success on it internationally. But against NA, they've done fairly well. OXG being one of those teams that they have beaten on this map. So they're going to be feeling like they can do it because they have done it. But it does get to that point where you start thinking, it's map 3. It's been a fair old night so far for SR. Think about where they started. Way back when, hours and hours ago against DZ. They are well and truly in the trenches at this point, and especially with both of the games so far in this series going the distance or as good as damn near or all the way, you do start to leave yourself thinking, how much have they got left in the tank? Equally, and I know this is something that Lax mentioned on the desk, did it look like OXG were running out of a little bit of steam as well, which is maybe more concerning given that they've only played a couple of maps so far tonight.
Well, that was kind of the interesting thing I thought about, both from the desk talking and you just talking right now, which is that I think OXG running out of steam is a perfectly fair point to raise. It just also goes to show kind of the faith and the standards we hold SR to, which is that
Yeah.
this is their 5th map of the night. We're like, yeah, but they, you know, they're probably still in it.
Yeah, they should be
they're
locked in.
Yeah, they should be locked in. They're not feeling tired.
Yeah.
They're fine, like, surely. And, you know, maybe part of that's unfair, but at the same time, you know, like, Canadian's had long nights before. He's had long tournaments. We know he's there, and we know that while maybe other players haven't had the same, you know, Ambi's been on this team for a while. Surf's been on this team for over a year. Spoit's been around the block a few times. We all kind of expect them of this, whereas OXG as a team, as a unit, are still quite young. We'll see how they're able to hold out. Other thing that Dusk mentioned is the prevalence of C4s in OXG's defensive lineup against M80 yesterday. A lot of operators in this lineup right now that, you know, I think whether they have them or not, kind of scream C4s, but yeah, we only have one. Just the Cade with that bit of secondary utility, likely because it's a 3rd floor defense. Not where we often see that verticality, that secondary utility really come into play.
Also not a sight we see all too often either.
Oh,
And
okay.
this is one of the main reasons why. Yeah, you can bring a castle, but you can't cover every angle. And if Rexon's going to find 3 from Cigar Repel, well, maybe there's a reason we don't play top floor too often on Cafe. Surf to close it out, and a fairly straightforward and pretty painless round from SR to kick things off. They were not put under too much pressure at all. Quite the opposite. From one single repel, Rexon manages to cut down over half of the defending team.
Really the beginning and the end of it. Not much else you can say beyond that. It's a difficult site to deal with for that exact reason. Even some of the good head holes or good rotate holes you make, there's angles you can get. Though I will say right there, is that what Forrest and Gomez both just kind of sprinting through the top floor? Maybe the defender's getting a little bit reckless there. That late into the round, I don't know if it seemed like there was a full reposition on that side. And you know, maybe you rotate and there's nobody there, but especially with the windows open and especially with it being Cafe, seems a little reckless, but hey, it's round 1. These things happen. Rexon gets a nice little triple out of it. And OXG will get there, I guess. What's what I'm looking for? Not honorary. I suppose mandatory top floor defense out of the way, but you got to do it once. It's Cafe. It's arguably the most famous site on this map. So now they go down below.
I mean, you could not do it.
That's
You could just
true,
not.
and teams will not. There are teams that don't do it. But like it's cocktail, you know. I feel like you got to at least a little bit.
Maybe just once.
Maybe just once.
Maybe if
Something
they
for
go
the
back,
fans.
that's when we call this roll.
I'll agree to that.
I like the lineup from SR. A lot of soft destruction. Sledge and a ram. And we only get treated to one, but this time we get both. Spoit playing the gridlock. Gridlock, an incredible operator for this map. And one that you will see more often than any other map a gridlock played. It is just so handy at cutting down those stairs. There's not great places for drones. That's one of the problems with Cafe and the attack, is that you've not really got anywhere good for those flank drones. It's a fairly clean space. Yeah, there's a bit of clutter. There's some weird shaped furniture. But overall, people know what that looks like. And if something's out of place, you're going to spot it fairly quickly. This is where the track stingers really come into their own at slowing things down. It's not that the defenders aren't going to move up, it's just that you are going to get a decent warning when they do. That soft destruction's getting put to work now as well. Cigar, that's already been ripped open. Now we're starting in and around that bar. Look at this. 3 players below, and what have they all got in their pocket? What is the common denominator here? It is, of course, the C4. We've got Grixer with the heartbeat scanner. We've got Yoga and any black eye cameras that are left after Twitch has ran through and deleted the majority of them. With time running low, this is when those C4s start to increase in value.
Adam's been twitch droned to death. Unfortunate. but he did not have a C4. Greater issue, though, is that Surf is looking to challenge the 3 players who do. Very Surf-like move to challenge all 3 of those players straight up. Canadian sends a nade down below just to try to ward off a C4, but I think one will land. No, up through the hole. Canadian diffusing in a different spot than Yaga anticipated, while OXG have the advantage of widening by the second. It's, well, one Rexon and a 1v2, as it seems every single kill decides to fly on the scoreboard. But the C4s go wide, and that's now important. Because while Grixer has the heartbeat scanner, it can hunt down Rexon. The only way they can deal with him is by a gunfight. So if Rexon pulls back, doesn't get too aggressive on these vertical angles, as OXG have yet even to get even a tick on this counter defuse, he can just walk up right now, find the next shot, just land one! And it'll be just enough time to get it over the line. Yaga unfortunately failing in the last second as Rexon threads the needle, uses his entire mag to get SR's second round in a row.
I love how even Ambi stood up. Ambi's like the most hype player. There's such a duality on this team because you've got like the stoicism that Canadian exudes, and then you've just got the kid, like the childlike glee, and the fact that Ambi just can't contain himself. It's just brilliant. It was so unlucky as well because I feel like Yaga may have had time, but kind of got locked into a bit of a revive animation instead of the disable animation, because that was like the first option as he looks down. I don't know if that was the case. I don't know if there was time, but I do feel like if the kill had have gone through, maybe there was time for him to do it, but because the body was in the way, the revive took priority over the defuse. Unsure. Depends how the bindings are set up, I guess. But a really, really close end to the round. A bigger problem in and amongst all of that, by the way. Let's just forget how the plant went, how the disable happened in the final few seconds. Let's forget that bit. Let's remind ourselves that a plant went down in the site that was trying to be defended from below, whilst there was 2 C4s still in play.
And a pulse.
And the pulse, by the way, had already used his C4, so didn't even need to back out of the heartbeat scanner to send his. Just needed to put a Z-ping on the floor or a call out as to where to put that C4. That was the criminal part. Oh, he didn't have enough time. Don't think, anyway. I believe that is what the clip was demonstrating there.
Hey, but good issue spotting nonetheless. There's a possibility.
Oh yeah.
SR will be happy about that. Looking to take 3 in a row now, as that was Fireplace and Mining we just saw. Oh, she will move over just 1 room for their next defense, not trying to retry any of these sites. Verticality will be important on this attack, which is ironic because we actually see 1 less vertical op than we saw on the Mining and Fireplace round. It's just the sledge this time, though you do have the super shorty, of course. Another long angle held by Rexon. But with nobody sprinting into Christmas anytime soon, seems like a double will not be moving his way. Instead, OXG doing the normal thing on this site, which is keeping themselves, generally speaking, to the cocktail side. Gomez will push up a little bit, but I doubt he's going to swing out. Rexon still somehow, though, finds an opening pick as it's the Azami down. And another Ambi repelling in behind. Gomez doesn't even hear Forrest, Adam, Grixer, all wounded. Moving into the final minute, 10 seconds. The C4s praised on the desk. Both have gone wide again. Even a little bit of a Finka surge to get some HP back. SR can reset. They have the time and the advantage to do so.
Is that 4 C4s we've seen across 2 rounds that haven't had impact? Starts to wonder, like,
5.
is it 5? You start to wonder, like, is it worth bringing the C4 or do you just bring something else? Do you bring another BP or something? Give yourself a bit more info, because if the C4s aren't landing, then you need to be getting every last drop out of your operator. Spoit takes Grixer down. Forrest. Ooh. Okay. Grabs Surf. Got a bit of a murder hole onto the white stairs as well, but feels like a bit of a step too far. Fortunately, bullet holes are a thing of the past. You now have to punch the hole in the wall, and it is far more obvious as to where that player is going to be. Spoit happy to collect yet another kill to add on to his tally here. And further SR's lead. Timeout surely brewing from Oxygen.
It'll have to. Down 0-3. Will likely happen after the ban phase, just to be clear. If it does happen. I suppose it's not a given that it will. But when you lose top floor and both middle floor sites in a row, I suppose, you know, you've not lost the first floor, but 0-3 is always the indicator. And indeed, meta-analysis, we've cut back to face cams. That means we likely have a tactical timeout. And indeed, that will be the case. Taking a pause because, as you very well highlighted, Ollie, we have had, I think in round 1 we had 1 C4, round 2 we had 3, round 3 we had 2. That's 6 C4s so far, none of which have met their target. In round 1, you know, it's a little excusable. You only have 1 C4. That's clearly not like the point of the defense. So those things happen. But round 2 is particularly egregious. A Pulse and 3 C4s, and as you pointed out, the Pulse at one point had no C4 to throw, so it could focus entirely on the heartbeat scanner. It's not like there weren't obstacles being thrown their way on that round. Surf was down below, Canadian was throwing grenades, but there wasn't a lot. And in round 3 that we just saw, were the C4 was the point again? No. But how is Ambi able to rappel in through the window and catch Gomez entirely off guard? Nobody seemingly on white stairs either? We can take a look right now, actually. Gomez caught off guard by it, and maybe Ambi just slips in, isn't caught by it. The C4 and the win condition failing in round 2, a lot of gaps in round 3. Now we'll go down to the bottom floor, I think to be expected. It's a stronghold for the defense on this map. We'll likely see a lot more tighter play, as typically a 4, if not 5-man hold on the bottom floor. Hard to leave a lot of gaps in that kind of setup.
I think that's got to be the play, hasn't it? It's got to be play a little bit tighter. You could almost pick your poison as to, you pick your topic, and I'll give you a reason why OXG are doing, or I'll tell you why OXG are doing badly at it at the moment. Opening pick, every round it's been converted into a round win, every round Shopify have come away with it. Every round it hasn't been traded. Forest is 4-3, he's the highest performer so far on the team. No slight to Forest, that's not where he sits as a player in this ecosystem. Bricks are 0-2, Atom 1-3, Yoga 1-2. We're just not winning gunfights on OXG right now. And on the flip side, you've got Rexon, who it feels like has been in his prime this entire series, and Spoit, who has, let's be honest, Spoit's not had the best time of things of recent, you know, in recent weeks and months on this roster. But he's found his feet here tonight, and he's lethal. 4-1 at the moment. These players just can't be killed right now. And so, OXG take the timeout, go back downstairs, and try and come up with something a little bit different. Differences, we're going to be bringing the Ella, trying to target onto that shield play a little bit. Still going to be continuing to play the Goyos, as it just forces a bit of utility exchange and kind of forces you into the Twitch pick, to be honest with you. We're going to be playing fairly tight as well at the same time. That is reinforced Spoit, just in case we were wondering.
Cheating, question mark?
If I was a player, I would do that sort of stuff all the time.
Just to mess
Because
with
I feel
them.
like you just farm interactions with it.
That'd be good. Very easy TikToks to make. You don't even post it from your account, you just like make a bunch of ults.
You make like a clip ult or something.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of utility being expended in the mid game right now. Smoke canister thrown out. A smoke and a firebolt apiece. There are no Dokkaebi calls used. And I imagine that'll be for Canadians' benefit. Maybe even Surf's as well. Kind of the 2 points pushing forward right now. Surf on the backside, Canadian more close to the front. Smoke canister go out. So the call is ringing. Normally it's the Monty we see push up here instead. SR taking advantage of that. There's no Monty walking up the hallway. Surf instead creeps into the freezer, but doesn't get a kill from it. No, now he does. Bricks are moving around the corner. The headshot just misses on the opposite side. But this bait and switch from SR has worked perfectly. Surf with 1 and Spoit with 2 over by Bakery. Ambi can now watch the back. They can support the Monty up front as well. Really beautiful play by SR right there. A 3K for Surf by the end of things. All the normal positions of a bakery attack, yet just that small twist, a creep on the backside instead of a Monty pushing up. And it really throws OXG off guard.
I'm enjoying more and more seeing Amber get more hype and hype throughout the course of these rounds.
He didn't even get a kill that round.
This is the point. Like, he didn't even get the final kill in another round and he was stood up.
I love it.
I just like to see that level of passion. All I like is watching passionate people. When they've got a bit of passion, it makes things easy. Because you just know that they're having a good time. OXG need to find an answer, and they need to find one quickly here. We bigged him up on Cafe. It's the decider. It's a good decider for both teams, in my opinion. But at the minute, they have not got an answer. And if they can't get around on the attack, it makes me worry about what's going to happen. Sorry, if they can't get around on the defense, it makes me worry about what's going to happen on that attack. Now, we know that Forrest will likely pull something out of nowhere with a shield at some point. But that isn't going to do anything to make up for a 4-round deficit that they currently sit at. They're going to need more than a couple of flashy rounds and a little pocket play to get across that. They need to wake up and get into the server. So at the minute, there is only Forrest with a pulse, still waiting for Gomez, Grixer, Yoga, and Atten to get a kill since last I mentioned it. They are not having the desired level of impact, and maybe Lax was right. Maybe they've run out of steam.
It seems to be the case, and Forrest might be 5-4, but 3 of his kills, all 3 of those kills came in round 2, which obviously they lost, but it was a Rexon 1v3. Wow.
Well, that's it. I'm not going to sleep tonight.
That's what we call a callback. I don't know what you say about that, you know. He didn't intend it.
You don't need the pick.
You know what? And we appreciate a team player. We appreciate sportsmanship.
I mean, they've had the opening pick in every single round.
Hey, and they technically speaking, don't have it here. Wow, this is just going from bad to worse for OXG right now. Is it gonna be a flawless? Oh, it's gonna be a flawless, isn't it? Wow.
I think this is one of your technically flawlesses.
Oh, shut up. But probably. He gets a kill here, surely.
Surely Greece is good for one.
The M10? Well, I think the M10 is Spirits is gone. I think everyone else will have worse luck with it.
Or even Doe could be calling. We're a 5v1 with a Monty and the Doe could be calls out. There we go.
Oh, man, it is basically flawless.
He gets his one. It feels like a weird series. I don't know what to say. I feel like I need to apologize for it because we've literally had 2 banger games. 8-7, 7-5. Definitely could have gone to an overtime on a night Evan Labs as well.
100%.
And then we come into Cafe and it's 0-5.
And it's like, and the rounds are just getting worse.
Yeah, they're not getting better.
It's like, I mean, I think we probably should address it actually in a serious capacity now. You know, Gabe had mentioned, and I think the desk as a whole kind of touched on this point, that OXG seemed to be running out of steam. And then we joked that, oh, isn't it funny OXG running out of steam? SR on their 5th map. But like, genuinely, it seems to be the case. They seem tired. On their cameras, the energy's kind of gone. Ambi's standing up. It's his 5th map of the night. His 7th map in 2 days.
10 seconds to insertion.
OXG 7-2 to the major champs on this map. Like, not even 20, well, I think actually exactly 24 hours ago. And you wouldn't be able to tell by the way they're playing right now. And they have a great cafe in them. They absolutely do. I mean, we literally saw it yesterday. And it's just not showing up right now. Fortunately, it might be another case where we see exit from OXG a lot quicker than we would have anticipated, and I think for a lot of us as well, a lot quicker than we would have liked.
No, for sure. And let's be honest, the game isn't over.
Oh, of course not.
Stranger things have happened. 5 rounds. They laugh at 5 rounds in a row.
It's nothing.
But you know what? Make it 6. Forrest,
Really?
C4 yourself again. Oh, he can't. He's not on the C4. He's on the Mozzie this time. Even still, jokes aside, Rexon nearly gets taken out there. Dealt a hefty amount of damage, I believe, by Gomez there, just poking himself out of the window. I still have a chance as he's got a bit of an aggressive angle onto the hatch as well. It just seems like OXG are kind of out of ideas. It's not unusual for Gomez to place utility down as a Goyo and then start to roam around and take advantage of that vector. It just seems a little bit strange given the positioning when we've got SR now taking good control of that top floor, and it's only going to be a matter of time until they start opening up those vert angles. There it is. That's what we wanted to see. First opening pick on the board for OXG this entire map. It's been an indicator so far as to how the rounds have gone. Not sure if it'll be the same here. No rotate inside a bathroom. Canadian in a bit of a box now. He's going to have to be careful up there. Doesn't want to get himself isolated.
Gomez on for a second, and it seems that OXG might still have some fight left in them. Boogie Drone goes out, and by the time it ends, SR are down 2 whole players. The ace is one thing when you're attacking and reading them in Fireplace. With the Dokkaebi, that one hurts a little bit more. How are you going to win back these kills? Well, Canadian running headlong into Gomez and pushing him into Ambi holding the angle on New Balcony. That's one way to do it. Spoit finding another. Oh no. Oh no. There's one player on red stairs too. He downs Ambi in the process, but that means there's a 1v1 and Canadian knows it. It's either one on red stairs or one inside the actual site. Need to decide which one they go for. Canadian spots the next, but his shins littered with SMG-11 shots. That'll put Spoit in the disadvantage. Got the death mark, but oh, just can't land the shots. Gricks are popping up and down. Need a few shotgun shots to finish the job, but just to get OXG's first one on the board, deny a flawless half, it'll be enough. There's a long way to go.
We often talk about it being a bit of a momentum shift getting around before the turn of the half. That could be what OXG needed. The problem that I see before us, and it's the same one that's been here all game long, is that this attacking win rate from OXG is 51%. So we're not expecting them to come out here and to chain 4 rounds in a row. That would be overperforming based on their current statistics. Rooney and Glass, Castle, and the Dokkaebi all taken out here. Some of the architects have been removed. It was curious because Shopify actually chose to remove the Azami instead of the Castle, at least during the first phase. Nice run out from Gomez. A little bit more confidence, it seems, from the side of OXG in that round. It's amazing what happens when they start getting a couple of kills. And yeah, it was a quicker round from Shopify. They definitely put the foot on the gas a little bit to bring that one to a slightly speedier conclusion. And maybe we start to throw questions on Canadian running around on the blitz, because when he seems to run headlong into engagements, it isn't the winning formula that it sometimes has been, or at least tonight it hasn't been. It happened on Labs a couple of times, and it's happened here and now. Just then on round number 6. Maybe something to look at in a bit more detail at a later date. But for now, we need to focus on OXG and their attacks. They need to be good here, Lynx.
Need to be good here, or this will be a very quick affair. No Castle and Rooney available for SR means if they are going to hold on to Christmas, it will need to be without a zombie or with a much more traditional and old-style deployable shield, ADS, and magnet kind of setup. But the Azami's up, so there's really no reason not to run her. Rest of the team will be pulled a bit further back inside a bathroom and cocktail. Canadian's the main variable, though, because when you see a mirror, you see in a zombie, you generally know where they're going to be playing on cocktail. The Solo's, the only guarantee is that she'll be offside, but whether Canadian dies early or stays alive for the late round, that's a whole different question entirely. Dog is sticking to Monty as well, so a good tool to try and bring the fight to Surf or pressure him if he decides to play inside of Christmas, along with players on the rappel. Very few DMRs, though. And not a whole lot of explosives beyond the nades, and I guess if you want to include the Selmas as well, technically speaking.
Proceed slowly.
But actually, surprisingly, no. Surf not playing in Christmas. He's using those Kibas, but pulled back. A really conservative setup from SR, playing behind the mirror windows and reserving the Kibas for farther back. Oh, wow. Wow, that's crazy. Surf sitting behind the obs blocker, betting that they won't drone him. And the player in bathroom shoots drones so nobody gets behind it. That is a brilliant pocket play from Shopify Rebellion.
Just goes to show the level of teamwork that this Shopify roster has. Yaga just stretching a little bit too far. It wouldn't have been too bad if he'd have died and got the mirror window, but he didn't even get that. Forrest is going to respond with one back onto Surf. Surf kind of pinched in a corner, but there's an argument to say that he's done his job there. Leveled at 3-3 as more kills start to come in. Rexon this time with more of those impactful frags that we often speak about. Bit of a whiff there from Grixer, and he'll pay for it. As Rexon in round 7 has found himself 3 and is maybe hungry for a 4th.
Forrest trying to wallbang Canadian through the humidor wall. I was trying to get that player behind the desk, but nobody from SR biting. Just a little bit of damage taken by the Solus, not much else. Really wish those smoke bolts were fire bolts right now. Maybe been able to send it around the corner and be fired over towards Spoit. Instead, it is Rexon. Good for that third. If OXG are falling off, SR have the energy right now. Rexon pumped up the entire team, ready to move forward, ready to get to that lower final and keep themselves alive in the regionals with a shot at qualifying to the 6 Invitational.
This is a little bit out of pocket. I'm really glad that Ambi's decorated his room. It looks nice in there now. The value. So much playing around that pixel spot. Such a famous position on Cafe. It's worked again there for SR. That and a little bit of good team play. Could be the final round of the night. OXG might be about to face the gauntlet that is the last chance qualifier. I'm not even sure how much information's out there about the LCQ at the moment, Links, to be honest with you.
Well, hey, they exist.
I know that they exist. I know that they will be before February. That's always a good bet.
5 seconds left.
There'll be one for North America, at least.
And Europe, at least. Other regions are available.
Target located.
Man, we don't care.
Starts to get a little bit real at this point, though. 5 rounds in a row for OXG to pull it back. It just feels insurmountable based on the siege we've seen so far tonight.
Seems strange. And just down 6-1. He's going out with a whimper on Cafe. Really unfortunate. Yaga going down early with that shield last round. A very bad omen for this round, let alone the potentially 5 rounds to come if they push it to OT. But that was a very smart but cheeky play by SR. I doubt OXG will get caught off guard by that again. And we'll get to see the full breadth of what OXG decide to do. Mentioned before that Forrest not really on these shields that much anymore. Instead, it's Yaga right now, looking to rush up Whitehall or hop in a window later on. So much information being gathered by Canadian right now. Spotted 3 players so far. Might not know the ops, but knows this is a top floor clear at the moment.
Ooh, trying to ball it on through there, but pays the price with the C4. SR not quite on the back foot just yet. Still with a decent utility advantage right now in this 3 versus 3. Canadian shotgun and C4 at his fingertips, and Gomez taking a ton of damage as well. Ambi still with the C4 to throw into the action whenever he wants to get involved in the fight. Gomez trying to make something happen from the rappel, but he too will pay the price. There's 1 minute and 15 left, and this round feels like it's flying us by right now. There's a brief moment to pause and take breath. There's a bit more drone work needs to be done now. There's a very low HP Gomez and a full HP Atom need to try and find an answer here to keep oxygen in it.
They've got time to reset at least. And Atom currently watching a drone, trying to get some information, get Gomez an entry into reading. he's just on the door to the site. A very important position. Remember, Canadian still has this heartbeat scanner, can still relay the positions of these OXG attackers to the rest of the team. Ambi prepped with that C4. Nade goes out. Can Ambi detonate it before it goes off? Somehow, neither explosion merits a kill one way or another. We'll send out the Zoto to stave off the push. Canadians got another. Even if OXG were to recover the diffuser, he could get it from below. Ambi dies inside of the site. Spoit sitting inside of the train, continuing to get that information. One spotted around the corner, and Gomez so low, so tantalizingly easy. Just one shot should be sufficient. SR stay alive in a barn burner 3 maps. And OXG go to the LCQ with a whimper. SR, SSG, and M80 are your top 3 teams in the NAL. And given how things look, Ollie, maybe SR just might qualify through that final spot.
There's a very good chance, isn't there? This was the first of many steps for them here.